Banky and Company, alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company, alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company, alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company, alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture.
Yes, greetings and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. It's another Friday evening. It's the last Friday of our month, as they put it. So we're going to be speaking about some different topics. So before we get into that, let me say good evening to the folks in the Federation of Oli and Lyamiga, which you know in the ancestors' name, which is St. Kitts and Nevis, beautiful waters, fertile land. That's us. So say good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Barts, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the BVI, the folks over in Montserrat, in Antigua and Bermuda, the folks over in the Leeward Islands, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all the way up to Dominica, and also in Grenada. Even though they had a storm, that's still not back up in full effect. So we have to always remember these our neighbors and what they're going through, because everything is going good for us. There are people still in very need and desperate needs of, you know what I mean, the state that disaster that went through. So we tend to forget easily as human and stuff like that. But we also always remember there are those who still don't have it. So shouting out to my friends over in Grenada and St. Vincent and St. Lucia. We had a small trip of some folks from between St. Kitts and Nevis. Went on a trip on St. Lucia, and my friends down there who I know well sent back some gifts and stuff like that. So greatly appreciate. So Donovan, big up yourself down there in St. Lucia and the whole crew. Greatly appreciate, you know what I mean, those gifts. Also the folks over in North America and up to Canada, from all the way up to Canada down to the Florida Keys, Boston. Have the folks in Boston always listening to the show. Greatly appreciate that. And the folks down in New York. Cold weather, yes, on, you know what I mean, throughout the US in these times. So under this time, when in the 50s and 40s, it's like summertime for them who live here, but you know, it's cold. We love the sun, you know. And the folks also down in Atlanta and Chicago and Florida Keys, and the folks also in Europe, in England, the time zone is different, but they steadily stay up and listen to us. It means that they have that interest in how the environment goes around them and the food that they eat and the air that they breathe, and realize agriculture and everything that we use around us is just the mining of the earth resources, and that's why everybody fighting over the oil, the land, you know what I mean, the coal, the diamond, just everything. This control mechanism where the 99% just get the suffering out of it. So with that interest, where the people are listening and realize we're bringing something different, yes, and steadily every week, not being biased about anything, and just something we have to call it the representative, where if we need answers, but you know, they tend to stray away from us and don't want to visit the show. But eventually the universe will put things in place and they will come. If when the people want them to be a part of this show, then the people hold them accountable. And accountability is the way we move it forward in everything that the government doing, both St. Kitts and Nevis and anywhere else within the world. You should hold your ministers, and because they are your slaves. We're not the sheep, you know. We're not the sheep, and them are the sheep to us, but we have turned them into the master, and that don't work. So This evening we'll continue discussion on the 2025 agenda, which is seemed to be moved to 2030, which Yasser and myself been talking about over the years and stuff like that. So, and I also want to big up the agriculture department by pushing out more awareness when it comes to agriculture department and the sector and what they're doing, because the general public don't have a clue sometimes what's going on in agriculture, and to have a communication unit itself, they really should be putting out more work. So congratulations to the young lady here, Shaki, for going out the extra effort and make sure new information is coming out within the department, where it is about the pound and extension, quarantine, the works that they do over there. And I love that, and that is what we're all about. We are not here to criticize anyone, anything like that. Once good work is being done, we're gonna comment about it. I see my friend Woody is posting peppers, picking the Tabasco sauce and all that. But I want to see but not just one thing. And remember, there's next section to it, so don't try to fool the general public. If one area fail, explain why this one ain't exists. There should be one area, and we can't talk about the next area. This two area is being grown. Why would one set so only 50% survive if you do these two? You can't fool the public says 100% when you have the next zone dead. You see what I'm saying? So I always bring forth everything that is right. So yes, what's going on with you?
Well, I'm giving thanks and praises. It's a pleasure to be on another edition of Everything Agriculture. It's a pleasure to be able to communicate with my people around the globe, wherever they may find themselves to be. A lot of things are going on, a lot of things are happening, and so it's always good to be able to come to the public and share our passion, share some of our experiences, and really play our little part in terms of empowering the future generation to take agriculture as serious as they should be taking it. As we continue through this discussion this evening, I'm hopeful that we would be able to tap into a lot of not just issues that are national, but also some of the regional and global issues as well. Also,
Yes.
I didn't even realize Tuesday when I did the show. This month moved so fast. I didn't even realize that was the last Tuesday in the month, and usually we do the cannabis show on the last
Yes.
Tuesday in the month. But this evening as well, we are going to be including the cannabis. So this evening will be mainly the cannabis discussion. We would have that as a part of the discussion, as well as the recent move. As we would have heard, the leader for Guyana would have mentioned that based on what is happening right now with the 25 by 25 agenda, that they are going to be pushing it forward to 20 by 30, 2030, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have been saying that based on the actions that would have been taken by not just our
So
leaders and
it is the whole of it is
Nivea.
the whole of CARICOM and not just Guyana alone. The whole of CARICOM, it goes
The
to
whole of
or
CARICOM,
just
the whole of
Guyana.
CARICOM, yes, the whole of CARICOM.
Okay.
But
Yes.
it's just that he was the person who was making the presentation. So it is just like we were saying, based on what we were seeing in terms of the reaction from most of the leaders within the region, I was convinced, sorry, that we would not have met this 25 by 25 agenda. What I am hoping, though, as we move forward, is that not because the goalpost, so to speak, has been shifted and has moved forward to
Mm-hmm.
2030, that we don't see a lap like we would have seen from 2020 thereabouts because even when he made the presentation, he highlighted the fact that it was around COVID that they made the
Yes.
decision to push this 25 by 25 agenda. And if we look at the pattern, we would have noted that it was only maybe about 2023, 2024 that we would have heard most of the leaders within St. Kitts and Nevis and some of the other islands really start to talk about this 25 by 25 agenda. And some of them really didn't even start to take serious actions until 2024 to really meet the agenda. So we were saying that based on what the reactionary moves, that they would not have been really ready for 2025. So I'm hoping now that we just move, that we don't lapse now and go back and then wait until maybe 2029 to start to get ready for 2030 again. So I'm hopeful that we could stay on board and really do what is necessary to address this food sovereignty issue that we are faced with globally, because it's not even an issue that is just national. It is a global issue. So I am really grateful for that opportunity to be able to help to disseminate that sort of information and help with that sort of motivation to encourage, even if it's one, person to say, let's do a little backyard gardening, or let me get into this agro business, or let me create this, agro product that I eventually take global and become a top product, internationally. Even if it's one person that we are able to influence, then our work is not going in vain. And so I really do look forward to the discussions, and also to engaging with our listeners, and whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV. And I guess we can also share the number. I think it's what, 6627196
I bet
1869.
it's going to be a mistake night coming from my phone, so
Oh yeah, but
we
right.
we can
Okay, so maybe WhatsApp. Let me. I'll put that number in then for the WhatsApp. So yeah, it would be 11559541275 So
yes.
yeah, we'll work with that tonight. But we look forward to the discussion, and you know with um with the comment you made in relation to the agri department in terms of the PRO and the public relations, I am really happy about what I'm seeing, because that is something that we would have spoken about a lot here on this platform, the need for much more of that. And I am really happy that, they would have heeded the call. And I personally, whenever I see the post and so on, I reshare it and so on my platform, because the point for me is not that, as you mentioned, it's not that we want to criticize, but we talk about these things because we want to see things being done, and then if it is done, then we wouldn't have to talk about it. And when we do talk about it, we will be giving praises, and that's where I am as well. So
Definitely.
I am really happy to see a lot of that, and I hope they could do a lot more. And then, go out to some of the vintage farmers and so on, even some who are not farming anymore, and seek to get some of
Of
the
course, that's to
stories
highlight
and so
them.
on, and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and the other thing, I'm hopeful that, apart from, oh well, I did also see that in that last video that they would have developed a WhatsApp chat also. So they're really moving with the times in terms of really seeking to reach out to the public and so on. I think they have their own Facebook page as well, and I'm not certain if they have a website and so on, but that's really, really wonderful. The publications of the videos and so on, it would be nice if they could also find some way of connecting with, maybe say, ZIZ and NTV, and have some of these also be played on their platforms as well, especially because they're national media mediums. And that would be really, really helpful, and so on. So I am really, really happy to see that. And so when I see that, yes, I give kudos to the Agriculture Department and the members of that, public relations team for the work that
Yeah.
you guys are doing. Keep it up, and we look forward to a lot more.
Yeah, man. Also, I would like to also see 'cause there was a program where myself, along with Oceano O'Loughlin, which Nadine and the past peers had created, and Michael Henville, where myself would speak on how to grow the crop out of vegetables, and then Oceana would have speak on the nutritional value of that fruit or vegetables, and then a food would be prepared by Michael Henville, and then Ocean myself would have done the tasting. We have done a lot of shooting when it comes to taping of those fruits and vegetables. So those could be continued, be viewed also. Could be put, the material should be shared with and the farmer between the Ministry of Health, Promotion and Agriculture, and also beyond ZIZ and the national station NNC, and where they can get somebody else to continue the program with, if not with Ocean or a next person. I mean, if they want my expertise to continue the program myself, you understand, in a professional way, that can also be make myself available for the taping and stuff like that, because we need to continue these things if we want to. If we really want to achieve a 2030 agenda, I mean, we have to change up this terminology now. You know what I'm saying? Because so see, these discussions should have come to the public, because how you make these decisions when the public don't know about the 2025, but then you just go make a decision to go to 2030. You see what I'm talking about? These are madness. It's like these people
Well,
don't care about us enough.
But Banky, it come down to
Yeah.
I was saying it come down to as we talk about accountability.
Yes.
It is being able to hold, as you mentioned, our servants, our highest paid servants, those who we elect to represent us, accountable. And these are some of the issues that I find. Because a lot of the times our politics is almost like we're almost on campaign mode
Yeah.
all year round, right? A lot of the politics end up being limited to the local politics, and maybe intentionally that way as well. So a lot of the, whether it's regional issues and international issues, a lot of the times are not necessarily highlighted or debated or discussed among the regular populace. You don't necessarily hear them as a lot of the major discussions on major talk shows and platforms and so on, right? It's more the internal party politics and who doing whatever and who did what and what, these kind of little things. So you find when it comes to issues like this, where even this recent announcement here that we're talking about, I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what we're talking about, because in a lot of cases, when some of these leaders go to these meetings, they don't necessarily come back and report to us. We don't hold them accountable. We don't say, hey, you went to this meeting. We don't even know if the prime minister went. We don't even know if the prime minister went. I mean, things like that. And as I said, they're coming back now to report to us about a lot of these different decisions that probably were made at that level. Which brings me to another point now, Banky, which I keep
Yes.
saying. CARICOM is like a toothless dog. And so in a lot of cases, sometimes this is why we end up with results such as these, because why I say it's like a toothless dog, the way CARICOM is set up, even though all of these heads of government go to this heads of government meeting and they sit down and they have these discussions and then they come to various conclusions, and then CARICOM makes certain recommendations. At the end of coming to these conclusions and CARICOM making these recommendations, it is not binding. There's nothing binding to say at the end of these, even the CARICOM made these recommendations, that when these leaders go back to their respective countries, that it must be implemented, and they have a timeline where it must be implemented by this time. A lot of the cases, these, even after making these decisions at CARICOM, individual leaders have the option of going back to their countries, maybe not even telling their people about it, and don't do anything about it if they want to. So it's not, and I found out this, I recognized this mostly when I was following the cannabis issue. And good thing we're talking about cannabis tonight. I recognize this because when, after 2018, when CARICOM made its recommendations for cannabis, when they said that, okay, cannabis should be decriminalized and treated as how you treat alcohol and tobacco. That was the recommendations from CARICOM. However, even though CARICOM recommended that, there was no timeline set that each country had to go, each leader had to go back to the country and take these actions by, let's say, 2019 or 2020, or you have to do it. If these leaders felt, well, maybe for whatever political reasons that they're not getting the mileage from their people or whatever, and they're not in that position to implement it, they just don't implement it. And that's it. So there's no penalization for not taking up whatever recommendations CARICOM makes. So that's what I'm saying. CARICOM needs to get strengthened. They need to have more strength when they go. Otherwise, sometimes some of these meetings to me is almost just like, a lot of these guys who are leaders now, a lot of them went to, whether it's college or universities together and so on and so. When they do go to these things, it's like when they catch up from long time, so the man just go a little party and go have dinner and drink up, and then they come back and have a meeting, and then like a little union, and then they have these meetings, and then at the end of these meetings, they have these nice fancy speeches and so on, and then at the end of the meeting, we ain't got to come back. We don't must come back but do these things here. We come back next 5 years, and that is why, like now, the 25 by 25 agenda, same scenario, perfect scenario. I see we back here now in 2025, not meeting the agenda and having to find all kind of excuses to now say, well, hey, okay, we're going to 2030 now.
Yes. Well, of course. So, you see, these are the things that we're talking about. How can we take our leaders from St. Kitts to Nevis to straight up to Guyana? Serious. You see what I'm talking about? Because the main thing, our leaders here in the ministry in agriculture, or the deputy, or the directors and the peers, so I mean, they don't know about this planned meeting of CARICOM and the decision, and then they also, well, the minister would meet with his directors and peers, say, well, these are what happening now. It's been extended to 2030 or whatever, and these are the policies we're going to roll out. Since we haven't missed the one in 2025, haven't helped our people, how much more we're going to have to make up and so far. You understand? Because remember, is the farmers in Nevis haven't got any help. Well, as the director said, well, they're dealing with, I guess they're focusing on the abattoir and different, in a sense now. I don't know to sure if that's the term, but that invested it in the abattoir and section, but I know that the investment was done since 2017. So far, that is from the 2025, that was not even in thought, even in making. So I don't see how one would have to do it the next. But I mean, I don't know why they would use the abattoir when that, in addition of the agro processing unit, definitely have nothing to do with 2025 agenda. So if they definitely didn't have any plan, then
Hold on. Let me get a little clarity on what you're saying there. Explain to me what you were saying there about the abattoir and using the abattoir.
Was built in 2017. When was 2025 agenda came up?
2020, 2019, 2020.
Well, good. Well, look how far that from the abattoir done been building, say started in 2016 and finished done build and going to open in 2017. So how 2025 agenda that could be built and invest for 2025 agenda? Well, what kind of sense that make? When people speak, me by process thing like
they're highlighting the fact that there would have been proactive and were able
Proactive.
to see the need to be able to
Yes.
invest in something like, because in reality, based
Yes.
on what it is doing, it
Mm-hmm.
is being playing a significant role in terms
Of
of
course.
food
Of course.
security, because
Definitely.
it is producing a number of products
Yeah, but
that are
no, but
growing in
but
demand and
remember,
so on.
director
Mhm.
put it in terms as if like that was specifically done for the 2025. So you should not say those things. So the director shouldn't put it as if like the investment not made in the abattoir. So we know there was an agenda company in 2025. So that was what it was done for. No, no, say that kind of way for.
Okay, okay.
You see what I mean?
If okay,
It was
I
done
see what you're
generally
trying
because
to point
the
out.
need was
Okay,
there.
right,
The need was
right.
there, which is a very good investment. Nothing is wrong with that. But do not mislead the general public and say, because you all have failed within approaching the 2025 agenda, go back and pedal back and use the abattoir just so Indian Castle have been put in place. You understand? Because of not for 2025 agenda. It was done because of
Right.
my we have been saying over the years within the department, the agro processing unit need to have a place that in when they want stuff to at least it's available and if the general public want it the same way but in a way we have a food bank. I did that to create a food bank for Nevis and Sinking people, a food bank because we know these days gonna come. You see what I mean? So then
Yes,
it work out
but
fine
Banky,
2020. Yes.
exactly. So that's what I'm about to say. So
It work out fine for the
that
2025
might have been your
agenda.
thought process. Yes, it
Yeah,
might
well
have
I
been
mean
your thought process.
yes.
But he wants but no, the end
Uh-huh.
result of it though
Yes.
fits squarely
Perfect.
into
Well, of course.
the agenda that
The
they
Kamanga
would have been
vision,
promoting. So
the Kamanga vision,
it
food is always needed. That's the whole
hold on,
point. You
hold
see,
on, hold on. It might not necessarily, well, yeah. I hear what you're saying in terms of the misleading part of it, but
that's all me say.
I could see why they would
We don't know
be
misleading thing.
minded
No, we
to
don't misleading thing on it.
take the credit,
We are the leaders. Yeah, but don't. But then, good. Cause for the 25 of gender, Indian Castle was at the front line in all the portfolios and the makeup and all the meetings and boldly to speak about so why this stuff talk about what the problem is. Important no more. Every quarter you have functions on there, educating the youth and them workshop tours will happen. It don't exist no more. We want to Indian Castle. So what happened to Indian Castle? But yet I stand to be corrected also, that the same trip that was taken to St. Lucia with the manager and big up DJ Woodis, because now Woodis is not back at Indian Castle for when they don't run him. So I guess they really see his needed. I hope the game Woodis are raised, I hope the manager at Indian Castle and the well, who is the minister? As I say, I told you to Mark long term. And Mr. Brantley gave Woodis a raise because you don't move Woodis from Indian Castle, send him over to New River in the next area, and then you send back for him now to base him back at Indian Castle. So you see the power of my training. This thing that they say,
so,
yeah,
um,
this thing is comedy. This
how
is
long has
comedy
this
thing.
how long has
Eh?
Woodis
Ah,
been returned to Indian
I'll
Castle?
say
How
about a month,
long now?
maybe maybe 5 weeks, just recently. And so, you see what I mean? So, because only he know the place, so how you going to vex with the man and then move the same man, one down there, and then you bring back the same man back down there again? So when you bring back down, remember, he was in charge. So so you can put him over back in charge of them who you put in charge. So you see how you're messing with the staff and the communication process and all these things. So these things need to be addressed properly because the work relationship still remain worse. No, because you move a man, frustrate the staff. You got the same man now, so I don't understand how these management things works and who is allowed to do these things. and at the same time the farmers suffer. You see what I mean? And the general public suffer. If we're gonna be as workers, be as professionals, just and me and you don't have to get along on the job, but on the job as professional, me gonna talk to you and work alongside with you. When we done 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, done wherever it is, you go pass me straight. I'm
Exactly.
fine with that. I'm fine with that, yes, son.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
But
But on
that's
the job, good
training. I
morning, how you
mean,
doing? That's it.
yeah, that's it. I mean, when I used to
But it's
teach,
not.
that was my thing too. I used to tell my students, look here. I mean, when you step into this classroom here, my responsibility is to teach you. I don't care who your parents, I don't care who you come from. I don't care. That's not my business.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
this hour here, at this 80 minutes that we have here, I want you to participate and I want your attention.
That's
When
it.
you make me down the road this afternoon and you don't want to talk to me, that's your business. You understand? But in here, at this time here, this is our time.
Yes.
After
So,
the session, you
but I
want to
mean,
talk to me, that's cool. But
you see,
as we continue, Banky, I just wanted to jump in and say good night to some of the people who are commenting on the wall already.
yeah,
So we have Gigi Speed,
definitely.
Gigi Williams Speed saying blessed night. Ounce Irvin, the Nevis one moment veteran,
Yes,
enough
I.
respect our
Big up the
brother.
people all the time. Yes,
The
I.
greetings King, Tashari, no, that's T. Okay, I'm not gonna try to butcher your name.
Mm,
So I'll just say
yeah.
Miss Jones, good night. She says good night.
You Shayna. You
Azim,
Shayna. That's not you Shayna?
no, Tsahai.
Oh,
So
oh, oh, oh,
that's
oh.
it's a high. I don't want to butcher the name. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to butcher it. So I'll just say
Yeah.
Miss Jones. Miss Jones, she says
Okay.
good night. And then
Yeah, good evening.
Azim Bikama has a question. He says, you guys know if the agriculture department got land to lease? Because it seems like they never got land to lease young people. Banky, that's a kind of interesting
Well,
question. And then
department,
department,
land, it depends on where they're looking at land for. I mean, the best thing I would advise them to do, 'cause I don't want to I mean, I'm not within the department anymore. They might have some information. So I'd rather go and approach the director. But when they're going to ask for land, make sure you have a business plan in mind. What size of land you need, what you're going to do with the land, how you'll develop the land with the resources to fence it. If you're going to go into crop animals and stuff like that. This I mean, just don't say you want a piece of land and then, because these are just basic questions you're going to be asked. And if you can't really just speak fluent and say, yes, just go see, I mean, I developed the land, yes, on full speed, go straight, boom, 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 boom. Otherwise, if out there, I took. It's all you have to do on the top, man. You know, do nothing, you understand? And I just show how it is done, cleaning. It's an investment. If I give you an acre and you have an acacia trees and all these overgrown, you have to clean it. It's an acre. It may cost you 5,000 to clean just one piece of land or more, depending on what cleaning it. You understand? $5,000 to $10,000. Then you gotta fence it. If you're gonna be planting, depending on what crop you're gonna plant, you might want to bring in plows and stuff like that. And then if you got the area you have a lot of monkeys, or if you're gonna control the monkeys, then you're gonna want put out drip system. So there's an acre land that's gonna just cost you over $25,000, $30,000. You see what I mean? If you're gonna do it yourself, because we talk about material and drip line, acre drip line gonna need more than 9 roll of drip line. If you're gonna put on a greenhouse, if you're gonna you're going to ruminants, you're gonna need to build pens and all this different stuff. So how much ruminants you want, what is pig, what is goats and all this. You see these are things, basic questions you're gonna ask you. So as advise people, always go readily to speak. And well, how long if I give you the land, you want to develop it? How long you think you develop the land? You give it 3 months. You go within 3 months. Well, these are just basic questions, and
but you
these
see,
are
Banky,
information. Yes.
as I listen to you, right, one of the things that
Yeah.
jump out at me is
Mm-hmm.
the need for
Yes.
um for teaching or retraining even some of those who are already in farming to see
Yes.
it as a business. Because
Yeah.
in the past, and I think maybe too, because for St. Kitts and Nevis, the only major only major, well, in recent times, only major crop cultivation we would have seen would have been like the sugar cane, like a major crop. But most of the other farmers would have
Who?
been more so
Who we? But who
what we
we?
consider, huh?
Remember Willie do say, yes, even when they do the sugar cane, they used to do a lot of peanuts, a lot of 15 eggs,
No,
avocados, and all that
right,
different
no,
stuff.
but that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying though, I mean, when I
Yeah.
say we, like the younger generation, I mean like the younger generation
Yes,
coming.
yes. Okay.
Most of us,
Yes.
we ain't see Willie do them, 'cause even though Willie do tell us about
Yes,
these
yes.
things, we
Of
were
course,
not
yes,
really
of
there
course.
to see it. That's
You
what I'm
just see the
saying.
sugar cane in
So
pieces,
what
a
we
large
see,
amount of sugar cane and stuff like that.
right,
Yes, sugar cane.
that's the only
Yes,
major big time farm we have ever really seen. Most of our
of course.
farmers are what you call a small scale or um
System,
um
subsistence
mid-sized
farming.
farmers, whether it's,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing again. Most people just do it as subsistence, where they might be a contractor, they may be doing some other job, but farming is just a thing that
Yeah.
they do to make a little money on the side. So it's not
Yes.
necessarily done from that perspective where it is a business, and that's how I take care of my family, and that's how I, what I mean. So we need
Definitely.
a bit more of that to help, because now, as you point out, these are some of the things now that the administration or the agricultural ministry would be anticipating. However, in the past, remember, things were not necessarily like that, because people were not necessarily thinking of farming along that line. And that's why in the past, people would have just like, oh man, I want a piece of land to work a piece of ground. And the government might have just be able to give you, especially if they know maybe you used to farm or whatever the case may be. So it's very good that you pointed out that these are some of the things that they would have to consider. Um, and now also for younger people who are thinking of getting involved as well, to start to do a bit more research on whatever it is you're gonna go. And one of the things that I would want to encourage young people, especially who are getting involved in farming, to do as well, to begin to, whatever it is that you're going to cultivate, when you begin your planning, consider the end in mind. Like, okay, I'm going to plant sorrel. Okay, you start to think about how much you can get per pound for the sorrel, um, you know, as a raw commodity. But then you start to think about what else can I do with the sorrel in case I might not be able to get it sold immediately or as fast as I would anticipate it. Could I develop a drink? Could I develop a jam? Could I develop, maybe just dehydrate it and package it? And so you start to think of, like I'm saying, the value added side of it. And then who knows, you might just be able to focus on one crop and be able to create a serious business or serious enterprise out of focusing on that one crop. And so these are the kinds of mindset that I would be hopeful that we could begin to adapt as we move forward. It seems as if Banky is frozen a little bit there. I dropped out. I'm not certain, but Carmen Labor on the chat says good night. Or blessings, sorry, blessings, Carmen Labor. Yeah. So the number to call in, if you want to call in on WhatsApp, it's only a WhatsApp number, so it's only WhatsApp. 559-541-2758.
Yeah, man, I hear, man.
Yeah, man. Okay. Asim Bikarmajit says, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Okay. So I understand where you're coming from. All those things talk about with plan. I am one of them who asked Randy numbers about it. Okay, but I'm not certain. Basically, that's another thing.
I see if you to go to department and especially seem like females seem to tend we get challenges. As guys, remember we asked about when those we asked about land availability and stuff like that. 'Cause people ask questions and so they get challenges. So I would give these are the information I'll give to anyone. Because the right thing to do is like you're going to a bank or anywhere seeking funding. First, they would ask about your plan, your business plan, and all this stuff like that. So when you go, most people don't. They'll just go, oh, they want land. And when you start to ask them, well, how are you going to give up the land and how are you going to get these things done and stuff like that? Who going to be working the land? Because the land got to be worked with these animals. You see what I mean? All these things you have, but people don't really think these things through. They just figure, well, but farm like anything else, it takes resources to develop it. And if you don't know how to do it,
Banky,
the know-how. Yes,
Banky, I
yes,
feel where the 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 person here and the wall is coming from, right? Because I
yes.
would have heard, I'm not certain if it was um on that presentation with you or
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else, but I would have heard that um the cry that land for
Yes.
agriculture is scarce, so to speak. And so one of the things that the ministry is seeking to do is to seek to approach some of the farmers who have lands that are not either being used
Okay.
or maybe they're not using all of it and so on, and they'll be looking to take back some of it and things like that to try to accommodate some of these people. Here's
It's
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
things. That's what, yeah. It's
Wait,
a lot of
okay,
combination of things.
I understand that, but sometimes you may look at a farmer not using a piece of land at a particular time, but you can't really judge it like that because depending on farming, sometimes based on how much you were using the land, you might want to leave it to fallow for a while and let it, regenerate, especially if you're not using um, commercial fertilizers and stuff like that. So you can't just determine that things like that. But anyway, what I was thinking or suggesting, right, is just like how if the government needs to do a project, they go and acquire a certain amount of land, even if it belongs to a private person. They have within their scope to acquire it, pay for it, and make it available. So why not acquire? If you're finding yourself, because food security is such a crisis, right? As
Yeah.
well, we know it is, and you are
Well,
seeking to claim it to be.
$6 billion. The gentleman from Guyana said $6 billion industry. We're
So
importing food in food region. 6 billion. That's a lot.
why not acquire, since this is such a critical thing? Why not acquire whether it's 100 acres or 200 acres or 300 acres or whatever it is, and set it aside for farming? This is lands not to do nothing else but
Well,
farming. So
that will be just
all who want farming now, you got some lands because it belongs to the government, and you're gonna chop it up however you need to chop it up to accommodate whoever you need to accommodate, and it will be recycled. So you don't think you got it for forever. You know what I mean? It will be recycled. Whatever the case may be. Um, why not?
well. I was saying before. Remember, they said they're gonna go 100 acres of hot pepper. So I guess land will be fine to go the hot pepper. And I understand the trip went to St. Lucia. I was just bringing up Buddhist on the trip. That was a part of going to start. Remember,
Hold
your
on,
son,
hold
the
on,
minister
Banky.
stated.
Hold on, Banky. Hold on,
Uh-huh.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Let me
on.
finish, man. Let me finish up. Let me finish up. Then you can continue this one. And you know, you make your point
No,
one
no, no, no,
time.
no, 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 no. It's just because
Uh-huh.
because the person on the wall. It's not me personally trying to put in a
Okay.
point. It's the person on the
All
wall,
right.
which
Okay, got
is
it.
responding and saying, I
Mm-hmm.
used to supply all the supermarkets in Nevis with spinach, plus local
Mm-hmm.
vendors, plus over in SK. So which means this is not somebody who just
Of
trying a thing.
course.
This is somebody who
But this
have
is
the
somebody who is serious.
experience.
So why?
So,
Of course.
so
So
I'm
so
saying,
when you
so,
happen to get to
so,
the
so,
line, that makes no sense.
so why is it that a person like this then is being challenged to the point where
Of course.
they have to? cry out for something like this if
So
you're
ask,
really serious
so
about
ask the
agriculture. This is
person.
what I'm saying.
Okay. So ask the person how much weekly, how much pounds of can the person can hear me, and how much pounds of spinach the average they'll pick a week time. Because see, so I must say the supply Best Buy the supply this, but is how much weight does that can just tell me the supply this, it might sound like extravagant, but then if so I'd like to know the average the pound a weekly, they how much you average out picking how much pounds of spinach. So I would have an idea. Say you're picking the garbage bags. How much garbage bags of the leaves? Because a heavy garbage bag of spinach may come about 30 pounds, between 35 40 pounds. Them large garbage bags. So how much of those? Because I go by numbers, eh? By just let me speaking like just overall, you may get excited, but I would have an idea. Weekly, every week I'll harvest a 50 pound of spinach. They'll just probably go to one place, Best Buy. Because then if you're not having harvesting 100 pound, 200 pound, 300 pound, you only can give one or two vendors. This is what I mean. So speaking me and how much
No, Banky, okay,
what says
I understand. I understand all of that. My point is just the
yeah,
fact that when he said that, I was just looking at the fact that because okay, when he started to talk first, the impression I got
I
was maybe okay,
understand.
like
Of
this
course.
is somebody who just coming into farming, or just have the idea of wanting to do farming and
Yeah.
went to the ministry and not knowing that it is somebody who is already in the business and is
Of course,
already doing
farming.
something.
Yes,
So
only
that's all I
farming.
was
They
looking at.
won't
I wasn't
expect.
really getting
Yeah.
into the quantity and all that. I was just looking at the fact that
Well,
okay,
I didn't know the
this
person was
person is
farming.
already
Well, I
doing it.
didn't know the person was, well, I didn't know the person was farming either. Like they were seeking land, so now we both know
Exactly.
into practice, which
Like
is
I'm
fine.
just trying to say now,
Yeah.
somebody like this now, especially with this information that they are presenting,
Yeah.
well, this is
Of
somebody that
course.
you need to look
Expanding.
out for and make sure that they get,
Yes.
you know what I mean, whether it's a half acre, whatever it is, to make sure that this business could grow. And then
I would
you
like to
could
know the
use this as
size
a
of land.
story too.
I would like
Because
to know the size of land
then
the
you just
person
have
farming
time
might
to
have
make
other
this a
crops.
story.
Yes. They might have other crops. Because you see, a lot of these backyard farmers does produce more material than a lot of those with a larger set of land, eh? Because they're more consistent. So you gotta big up those with a small space. They definitely utilize a small space and take it and do some serious harvesting and crop rotation in the space that they have within the backyard. So it's not about having the size of the land, it's about how you utilize the land, the intercrop, the crops, you know what I mean? Go the crops on them and manage them in a sense like that. And you're consistent
Banky,
about it. So
watch
yes.
here. The brethren, I think he passed away last year. A brethren,
Who?
used to live over back. Used to live over Bath. Used to drive. I think he used to drive for left for them or something like that. Elder guy in his bedroom. He used to supply Best Buy with a lot of herbs and okra and all and things. And there's a little space in front of the house. The man
Mm-hmm.
had just his
But that's
house.
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
like
That's what,
when you're going up by Monto, when you reach by Monto there, the house I think is just after the road to go up by Monto. A little house there. A
I'm
partner. I
not
think his
sure what
wife
you
left.
mean.
Used to drive. Used to drive he had a Land Rover Jeep.
You're talking about the partner and the right Davian father.
Me don't know, we don't know, but
And he also stop planting the yard. He has when him again. Davian father, he had a little shop door, do some cooking and stuff for the lady who had married to his wife. But I think he had moved to Tartola or something like that. But he used to do some planting. A great shocker, yes. He was one of the LEFCO supervisors, stuff like that. He's a Claxton.
the man had a
He
small
used to
little
do some
garden there,
farming.
and
Yeah,
the amount of food
yeah
used to
man.
come out of the little garden
Of
there.
course.
He used to,
I used
used
to
to be
check for him and
inspiration
so
for me
forth.
because I used to remember when I
Yes.
walk
Yeah.
in going up on Van Radio, when I used to walk Van Radio and I walk in going over, I used to just love to just watch the garden or something. I used to see him.
What is happened to him?
I think he passed away last year.
Well, wait, I
Yeah.
know his wife had passed, but I don't know what he had passed. So wait, we got to
Or maybe
research
we're
it.
talking
Ask,
about two
ask.
different persons.
No, man, we're talking about the same person. That's Davian father. He went outside the bakery's house at the bakery going up the hill there by the dam.
No, no,
That's
no,
what we're
no, no,
talking
no,
about.
no,
Moon
no, no, no,
there.
no, no, no. It's about when you're going over, you go over the hill. You go
Of
over,
my entire
you
place.
pass Blackhat, you go down, you pass Blackhat and you're going up the hill there. You go on by Van Radio.
Oh,
When you reach
okay.
up to the hill there, just see when you're going to turn it, like, where Hazel used to live. I think it's the house just after where Hazel's mother used to live. Ronnie used to drive the boys truck. Used to live right there.
Okay.
And then the
Yes.
house
Yes.
after
Yes.
this moved to go up in the alley there, and he had a little house after that. And there's this guy and his brethren used to, I think he used to walk left. I know he had a little he got a son in Fountain. Warren and his father. I mean Warren and his son.
I can't. I know the LFC had areas having some seasoned peppers and different stuff. I'm not sure if it's the same
Right
place.
there,
And you have
and
some.
that yard, the thing right up on the left hand side. When you got just before
Yes. 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 Yes.
he also
Yes.
have been
A
the
small
last
house
house
there.
over there. You know? After he, I think it's
And
Black
before
Hat.
the
I think
tire
after
shop.
he,
Before the tire shop.
right, exactly.
Yes.
On the left hand
Okay.
side, yes. Partner used to supply
Yes.
Best Buy with a lot of food out of the little garden right in front there. Herbs and
Yes. Of course.
okra and pepper and all kind of things. And so as you were pointing
Of course.
out, that you don't need to have a lot of space. And people have a little
Yes.
backyard garden, or sometimes, even though it might be small, they do
Yeah,
supply a
man.
lot.
It's
So what I'm saying
all the
is,
time.
if you have a backyard garden and you're already producing so much and you're supplying other people, imagine now if you get a piece of land where there's an acre or whatever it is. So my thing is
Definitely.
especially with this need for food sovereignty, people like these, you ain't supposed to be trying to stifle people like these. You're supposed to find ways and means of trying to accommodate people like these. Get a piece of land
Yes.
somewhere, and you know what I mean? And they make this a story. Here is somebody who wanted a piece of land, using the pomo and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, okay, now I remember when he had his little backyard garden, but now we were able to help him and get a piece of land and see what he's doing now and see how he's contributing. I mean, instead of fighting, and this is what we're talking about, if you're really serious about this 25 by 25 agenda, if you're really serious about addressing food security, we
Yeah,
have
son.
to do whatever it is to empower the farmers.
People sometimes there are a lot of land sitting down in navies, and when you approach the people, if you want to lease them the land, they don't want you to lease the land because some of them have the meditation that you're walking out the land, you walk out the land, you make money off the land. No, I mean, you laugh, it's not a joke because I tell you, these are things that they be telling me. You understand? It's like they went to somebody's house and they supposed to farm in the land and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Going vegetable. But you know, well, bank them up, I went to my house, them walk out my land, they pay me the rent, and that now they agree better. I say, what the hell? Virgin, people are easy, you know. We could get a book, you know. You get on the island of Davis and deal with idiot people, it's like, be a joke, the things that people say. I'm telling you, Virgin, don't tell it. The rather got the land is long for donkey years until you grow up with bush than to get car. First in the know if you work the land. You know, we are a set of people who understand money, you know, and the value of land in navies and sink it in the Virgin. And what the land you
Yeah,
want to get
but
on the
for
land, you know.
banking,
So
for
people
banking,
counting your money before your
that's
investment
another
and they
reason
figure you go
why.
and harvest. You because you're a millionaire. That's how they just see things, you know. You gotta pick up a melon. Oh, you make the whole wall of money. They don't know what you have to pay. They don't know. All they see, they might count your melon and them and count your mango and don't know why your bills be. That's the meditation of people, brethren. And all people is like that, and that is sad. You see? Because we know each other as growing up as poor as who don't have it. So when they see a truck full of a melon, wow, well, one melon costs this, they start calculate everything in their head because that's how wise they be. They know your inputs be and all this stuff and what you have to take out and who you have to pay and all this different stuff. You see what I mean? That is how the human being function. And these are the reality. You see? This is not so the government can grow things and take losses and the estate because they're not paying a water bill, they're not paying a chemical. You see me to show you. They go hire 100 people that work and not keep this down and do no work or whatever. But if the dance have to pay for the light, government shouldn't even have agriculture department exist with all this estate. Okay, because all you provide work, but if your work is insufficient, but you mean you should put money in the treasury and all these things too, you just can't be making excuses. Can this still make no sense? If you have a training center, you take some of these same lands, cut them up and give them to people who you really and guide them and all these things. If you have to look within the department and see who is within the department and who all have land, well, how much acreage of land you work between the people who work then who have land. And when people, these are stuff the farmers them speak about and those who own in general public, they know people in the ministry who work there, the extension staff and others who have land within the ministry between themselves. Acres and acres and acres. I'm sure you'll work up with more than 30 acres when it comes to those inside the department themselves who have land. So so these are conflicts you'll see within the general public and it goes whether it's in Singleton and Nevis, it's the same thing. Them within the ministry have a lot of land. So when me ask you for land and you got land a whole land on 5 acres, 7 acres, well, how you want to tell me you no land when you got land? You see what to show you? Our people are not foolish. You see? And these are things, if you're going to move forward, either if you're going to be in the ministry and working inside, then if you're going to seek land, you seek and get private land, but the government land should not be issued to you. I always say this thing within the department. Some don't like when I say so, but that's the reality. You see what I'm talking about? Especially if you're going to be going out and work with farm. Once you're in the ministry itself, you should not have land. That's how I see it. I speak about it. Some might not like it when I say it, because when the general public come, if you're going to have it, in a sense, if you're going to do it trials, whatever it is, and work along at that track, but we don't have 5 and 7 and 8 acres, and then you yourself not develop it and hold on it for whatever reason. Make no sense. Make no sense. And the general public speak like this. So if you're going to have this staff have over 30 acres, well, 30 acres are a lot of land. Well, how much farmers can benefit from that if someone want a quarter acre, a half acre, or 1 acre? You mean you can have at least 70, 100 people benefited, right? If you cut a acre into 4 quarts. This is what I'm talking about. These are issues. These are real issues. So if you ain't going to talk about that part there, and you're going to ask no land there, but land there, because them inside they got land. So how them in there get land all the time? You see what I mean? So if you're going to say, and you can still lease land, because there's land that is not there, and buy out the land and have them, because what land are earmarked for agriculture?
So
You hear
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying, you know.
The PS from St. Kitts was on a show and a couple of weeks ago and speaking about the same 2025 agenda. And then he's saying, well, Nevis was talking about building a processing unit, and I realized they know happened to Nevis and the same poultry thing. So they went ahead and invested and done build the facilities and all this stuff and about to embark on. Well, Nevis look foolish now. You see? Because Nevis went full speed ahead with their set them up and then stop, can't move, sinking the pass out Nevis full speed. Don't got the hatchery, everything done built and all this different stuff like that. So the collaboration, if this is supposed to be a joint effort as a federation, we're just not really seeing it. You see what I mean? Kai, we're just not seeing it. Because we don't hear the minister speak on the agriculture and the 2025 in no serious way and ask will farmers reach out, nothing like that. The only person who speak about 2025, you might hear it from the director. You see what I mean? Mr. Sargent is not. They have an assistant PS. I'm not sure if the young lady have Mrs. Jefferson get the permanent secretary position full time as yet. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen her in front of any media talking about the agriculture, the 2025 agenda, you understand? Open day and all this different stuff like that. I'm not sure what's going on. So, and the minister definitely don't have an interest in coming on our show to speak about agriculture for sure. So, unless we'll have to get the real minister, which is the premier, cause is the premier, is who the buck stop with, and the whole cabinet. Because without food, we are going to start, we're going to go in a serious situation, starvation, high prices of food, because everything going up, and if you're going to be drilling wells and you're not thinking about wells for farmers and stuff like that, but cannabis going to need water to your son. So if you push cannabis as the ministry, what water them with? If you push hot pepper, 100 acres, where water come from?
Well, Banky,
yeah.
we have a bit of hope here on Nevis, I must say, because I would have seen in recent times some news article about a couple of new wells that began on Nevis, and they would have found water at the wells, and from the budget promised, I think it's 9 wells that are supposed to be dug. Now,
Okay, let me stop. Slow down. You're too fast.
wait,
Remember,
wait,
you know,
I,
me not impressed about that. The premier been saying that 4 wells gonna be drilled and ready for cultural armor. You forget the part there? Culture
okay,
not come yet.
but
You
I
see?
think the 2 or 3 they would have dug so far, right? But hear what I'm saying. The point I want to
Yes.
make, right, is
Yes.
when, 'cause I'm not going to use if, when
Yeah.
they are dug,
Mm-hmm.
the point that we are
Yes.
seeking to highlight right now, in terms
Of course,
of
with water.
allocating water for farmers, I am hoping
Yes.
that in their plan, that they would have plans to
Mm-hmm.
allocate maybe 1 or 2 specific wells
Yeah.
to have water in steady supply for both the regular
Mm-hmm.
farmers and the cannabis farmers, as we are suggesting, because we're just about to say that cannabis would need a lot of water as well if we're going to get
Oh, you
serious
hoping.
cannabis production.
You
Yes,
hoping.
that's what I'm
You
hoping.
hoping.
So I'm hoping
So
that they're
so this
listening
is a
to
part
us.
of their planning with the drilling the wells. So in the drilling wells, what are the plans for what is the assess? What
I
plans do they
don't
think of?
know. Well, it might have been just to
But this will tell
facilitate
us.
the
Based on these things we'll
if
talk
you are
about.
going to Banky, and this is what I'm saying, if you ain't accustomed
What?
to come ask me, I'm accustomed to just do what I'm accustomed to do. Then when you start to come ask me
Okay.
now, you're gonna come like it's a problem. And you're gonna
Yes,
seem
son.
like me are the
Watch this.
problem. So what I'm
My
saying
main thing
is
at Indian
we,
Castle. Go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead. What
no,
my
I'm gonna
main thing at
say
Indian Castle.
we as a people we come like we lapsing. But
When
anyway,
was
I'm
built,
gonna finish it.
yeah. Go ahead, finish up.
I'll just finish. Like the real thing is we as a people just need to really begin to hold our people who we elect accountable.
Yes.
We need to play our part. And when we begin to hold them accountable, as much as they try to criticize and say ignore the noise and whatever it is their job. And when we start to get them to realize that we are going to hold you accountable and we need transparency and you need to do your part, then things will change. But until then some of this is going to continue where they just do what they do without any consultation with you, and you either accept it or the game continue.
One of the main thing with that Indian Castle, because 40 acres going to use a lot of water, and you have the intention to develop the next 40 to 60 acres. Because there was already a well over there, done dug, over in Webb's ground over there. And when they were at the time doing the cotton and the posts and the transformers and stuff were moved. And we already had bring in Fred Robinson along with the team there to do an assessment. And the same well was still said to be good and for farming and stuff like that. Pump and everything was already the size already given from the gentleman, the Kishan, within what a gentleman, young guy, you understand well understanding what's going on, stuff like that. Cause for me, if you're gonna be farming, you want to get off that water source with the potable water and use water that could be brackish but good for farming. You see what I mean? So these are ways I was looking at. So if they're gonna just go there, go sit down, no water down there right now, and you're gonna want to develop the next second phase, but where are you water from? If you can't, if you're left articles then because you can't maintain the water and balance the water and send the water not for months. Well, how you get the second phase water? Where you come from? So who fooling who? The minister don't say in the election in the parliament, you know, within the first quarter, tomorrow start March, you know, which is the first quarter. They're gonna start the Indian Castle second phase. You can't do phase one, you can't maintain phase one, just even cut some grass and plant one crop, some pigeon peas. But you want to plant 60 acres of food again. You put where you water from? I want all this product to work, you know, but once you don't fail me, you're not gonna confidence in a virgin. Okay, if you tell me you can put on a horse roof, yes, I'm tell you horse roof, and you probably horse roof for legal all the time. Me not give no second and 3 chances I can pay you do it all the time, you know. You get it right, it not gonna work. Because suppose you probably go for it one time, if you can't do it, do not tell me so you have no confidence in failures, brethren. Especially when you got it on paper and say you could do it. And me not gonna confidence, me like a zook. If you don't fail, you don't fail. Me no want hear from you. That's what me think too. You know that? So you cannot convince me now you are make up before me right. No. Me not in a that because taxpayers money your waste. Because me not waste taxpayers' money. So those who waste taxpayers' money, me not in that. You see what I mean? Whoever support these things, I'm about professionalism and accountability. If you can't do something, do not take it on and then make excuses in front of the general public. I'm not that kind of person who love to hear excuses and excuses. We have too much excuses around here. You know what I'm saying? Within the civil service and getting paid to do nothing. These things are not right. But yes, on cannabis, on the agenda. I'm not sure. I mean, people seem to be coming up from St. Martin and Stacia with the intent that there will be the same, what I must say, expectation with the cannabis production and the display and stuff like that. I'm not sure who's going to be doing the display, but myself would not be there. I'll be having my own thing at Shabazz Organic and Mansell Scales on April 6th. That's when I'll be having my own thing, a melon medley and cannabis 420 in one education stuff. And just $5 to enter and for adults and $2 for young people and stuff like that. So it'll be a Sunday from 12 to 6. So I know people have reached out to me when they come to and contact. Huh?
That's quite disappointing. I'm saying it's quite disappointing because last year, that would have been one of the biggest thing for the Agro Fest.
Yeah.
Most talked about.
I don't want it to be about me. I don't want it to be about me. Anybody should be able to go and set. It should be inclusive. The director and the peer should speak about it. We welcome those with the cannabis plants or whatever, to take part in it. I don't want it to be about me. I don't want to be the face about nothing.
You're saying you don't know. You don't know if somebody else might be feeling that.
Yes, take part.
You just know that you might not be there. You just know that you won't be there. But
no, I won't.
It would be nice to have. It would be nice to have another setup because it is vital. It is now a part of the agricultural department, and especially for the education part of it. That is why I would say that it is so critical.
Let me I have a book, Kashi's Queen, and this is we call it a question we're gonna put out there. If you have ever heard the minister himself speak about cannabis and the way of cannabis forward within Nevis and what the plans are and the way forward, the minister saying you'll get a chance to win a book, Kashi's Queen. It's about financing by a young lady, Davisha Tomlinson, a financing individual who well known about finance and stuff like that. You hear about Kashi's King, but Kashi's Queen is not just for young ladies, but for men, adults, and how it's well orchestrated and put together. Definitely, it's a best read and encourage everyone to get that book. So if you ever heard the minister speak about cannabis and the way it should be developed in Nevis, you get a chance to win that book. You can let me know what date it is and where could I find the information and stuff like that, because myself never hear him speak. I promote cannabis in any way and stuff like that, not even for agriculture openness. So I want to give someone a chance to win a book and to make the minister look good. What do you say about that, Yason? Yes, and I laugh. You understand?
Eh? That was interesting.
Someone get interested. Well, you know when the minister says you go in the book, you go in that book.
Bye. I don't ever hear that. The only way I go win is by answering like that, I've never heard anything, So I look forward to hearing. I look forward to hearing.
You go past the water and speak about the peers in St. Kitts and Samal. You understand? So you can do that, right? Many times, right?
Of course, many times.
That's easy to answer. You see? Even if they're just like that. So you get a chance to win a book, Kashi's Queen. Yes.
And as you talk about that, Banky, I remember last year, I could never forget. I remember when they were about to have the Cannibalist event on St. Kitts, which was
Yes,
is there gonna be another one? Is there gonna be a part two to that as well? But I remember when they had the
I
event
can't say.
just before,
I can't.
just before, just before the event, they would have had a video showing, and they were highlighting some of the growers and St. Kitts, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
look at this. They're not even hiding faces. Like sometimes you see these things and they would, kind of shut out the face so you don't
Think
see
it
who they.
different to me, in a
They
Belgium.
were
Think it different to
literally
me,
legal.
think it different to
So
me. Total.
I was saying to myself, well, why we can't see this happening in Nevis and see that you're seeking to help to protect? Because what they were seeking to do is to collaborate with a lot of the local growers and see ways in
Of
which they
course.
could try to protect them from the industry when they open it up and maybe other big companies want to come in and set up and so on. I'm not seeing nothing, not even I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not hearing anything, not seeing
And
anything where can be
any comments about
concerned.
the
And I
book?
don't recall.
Yeah, when you read about the
Um,
book, it's when you hear the minister speak about cannabis and what it's good for and all these things, and what the industry is saying.
see
No,
what's going
not
on
yet.
here.
And
No,
also remember
not,
to share the link.
not,
Please share the link.
not yet, not yet. Well, and I added the
Yep.
number they need to call in too.
Well, and
Um,
they can always share in and Facebook just share the information, their text and their messages if they know when the minister had spoke about cannabis and the goodness of cannabis and how the agriculture open they went about with the cannabis if you speak and last year cannabis and the agriculture open and stuff like that. Cause I can't ever, as Christopher does say, he heard the minister speak anything about the goodness of these things, even though it's a non-poisonous plant. So, but it's an industry that the
I
government,
was,
the federal,
I was, I was
moving it,
hoping that
we have. Hmm.
I was hoping that Alan pop in, because there was this case that happened on St. Kitts, and I kind of found it
But
interesting. This case here,
gentleman, the gentleman had do a thing, a thing on this guy, Model Shock, an interview, and
right,
said
to
he had brought
justify, right,
a spliff. Yes, basically a
yeah.
spliff. How much grams the spliff was? How heavy the spliff was? 6 grams?
I remember 36 grams or something like so, or
Or
39
six
grams. I
grams.
don't
The spliff,
remember.
I think it was six. No, six
Some
grams.
amount.
The spliff was.
I don't
Say a
remember,
spliff. Don't
but
say a spliff. A big spliff.
that's what he
A
said.
Bob Marley.
But
Yes. And they let him go. The man
yeah,
come down here. Right?
but these are some of the things that I'm trying to figure out. Because okay, is it just being charged for seeking to import? Because I guess that's how they,
He said
they,
we have a
they look at
laptop.
it.
We have a laptop. We have a jail. Nothing. After they let him go, they just come back and call him and say, "Oh, they got charges for him and all this craziness." I don't know stuff could work like that. You see, a spliff, and then they be charging him to import a spliff and to
No,
do this and
because
to do that.
you see, and a, a lot of this, a lot of this comes down to the fact that we're talking about seeking to get some of these legislations and what we can and cannot do, clarified from those in the ministry and those who are going to be, so to speak, um, governing the legislations, um, so that the average people on St. Kitts and Nevis can know how to function, can know what they can and cannot do without finding themselves afoul of the law. And also, at the same time, seek to educate those in those other areas as well, whether it's custom officers, whether it is police, whether it's coast guard, whether it is, whoever need to be abreast with the new regulations or legislations or the new paradigms as to where cannabis is concerned, so that we don't have some of these issues, continued, and or people having misinterpretations where some of these things are concerned. Because it was kind of interesting to hear that.
You sound so
Um,
low, you your voice so low.
maybe you need to touch your speaker and touch it again. Because maybe the call came in and the call kind of cut down your volume. So like on the app, maybe you need to like pause your mic and put it back on again.
No,
Press your volume.
only the picture there. Let me
Okay.
set up with the picture.
And while you're saying that, Delicious Nichols said good night, Kings. Yvonne Jeffers said good morning. All Tillyman, Jetty Taylor, Ivor. Well, I guess she's tagging some other people and some. Yeah. So this cannabis thing really, I think after 2018, the CARICOM would have given their recommendations and so on. To see that we're in 2025 and we still have not gotten all of these issues started out, and we haven't even gotten to the point on St. Kitts and Nevis where licenses are rolled out and so on. I mean, I really don't know what to say. And at the same time, even though these things are going on, and maybe the argument is, well, they're still working on the legislations and so on, there's still not enough information being presented in terms of public relations to update persons on what is being done, what should be done, what they could and can't do, and so on, and a bit more of that public relations. When um, cannabis was fully illegal, there would have been all sorts of efforts made to sensitize the public in terms of all the lies and negative things that they would have said about cannabis. They would have gone to as far as sending the police into schools with a day program. I remember, seeing them showing children
All right.
how the cannabis look and how the buds look and all of these things and so on, and telling them how bad cannabis is and so on.
No,
And so they
no,
went out of the way.
yes,
They
sir.
went out of the way. Yo,
I might have a special guest to come in and talk about a little synopsis of cannabis in New York, how it is up here when it comes to the shops and them in the Bronx and in Brooklyn and the kind of stores. Like you know what I mean, like it's nothing on how we affecting those who usually use. I mean, the average man who usually have the little hustle going on, and with now those who own these stores now just take, and it's like nothing. So I'm bringing a cannabis specialist, Marvin King. You understand? You laugh. That, so if when I move, I don't want you to think I switch, and then you see, so, you're supposed to know Marvin.
no, no,
You
no, no, no
understand?
problem, man. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's
All
a
right.
part of the
So
discussion. Because at least
all right.
it
So
adds to the
now you're gonna
diversity
come
of the
in
program.
and tell you, I mean, how the industry been since it started, how much cannabis you're allowed, I mean, to have on you and stuff like that, and where you can smoke and use the herbs, and well, he'll give you some information about that. So Dondo, come through.
Sitting in the hot seat.
Yeah. Good evening to it.
Good evening, my brother, and the whole panel.
Greetings, greetings. Yes, welcome to
Okay.
another edition of Everything Agriculture. It's good to have another face in the place. Well, tonight we usually address the cannabis issue, and so it is nice that we are going to get some information in terms of what's happening on the New York side of things. How recent they would have freed it up in New York, so to speak.
How recent what?
They would have freed it up, like free it up, decriminalize it or allow it to be
It's been free. It's been
sold.
free now for a couple of years.
Okay, so you have the freedom, but it is restricted to mainly those who have to get the license to sell it in dispensaries and so on. How is that affecting the average man who used to just go and do his hustle on the street? How is that in comparison to what is being legislated?
Well, it affect the average man by the stores them selling it way cheaper. One stop shop. You go to the store, you could get your drink, you could get your roll up, and you could buy your weed at the same time. When the average man now is on the street just selling weed, what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to go to the store or go to the average man? So then
So yeah, go ahead.
then a lot of guys has come through the borderline that make it even self worse when they came to the border because they already had people in place to give them stuff. So when they reach here, they all gather up and start selling, make it worse.
So you're saying now that it is decriminalized, or free up, so to speak, it is m- much more difficult for the average man on the street. Is there a lot of pressure still coming from the authorities to try to shut down what, as I guess they consider you guys as the black market, so to speak? Is there a lot of pressure from
They will more shut down the stores. The stores them get more target
legalization?
because the dispensary them paying taxes on their stores. So if you're not a dispensary and you're just a little corner store, they will target you more and give you a big fine. And then when they give you a big fine, now the landlord gets a fine also too. So the landlord that own the property gets scared to rent you the property.
Right.
So it's not just the person who owns the store going to feel it. It's the landlord who rents you the property is going to feel it too. Which in
Interesting.
the average man on the street has no rent to pay. The average man on the street now, you could walk on the street now in New York City and see a table set up on the side of the street with many different cannabis set up on there legally with the police standing right next to the table. Cannot do you nothing. But
So how does that work? Yes, so let me hear that part, because you're saying that that part
but
is legal. Yes, let me hear the
it's
but.
legal. But they see you with a beer, you get a ticket. You be drinking a beer, you will likely get a ticket faster than lighting off a joint. And it gets so ridiculous now that the kids them will be smoking on the bus and on the train and really don't give too much about it. And they also smoking those stuff they call hookah pens. Uh whatever they be smoking, some kind of pen they be smoking, they say is evaporated whatever it is, I don't really know, but that's selling a lot too. So you're in public
So
places,
okay, so in terms of um that part you're saying, because okay, you have the licensed people who have the dispensary, right?
yes,
And then you say you have
yes,
those people who might do a thing in a corner shop, and it is
that
still
they
illegal.
are, they are,
Okay,
but it's just
okay.
chances. Everybody take chances in New York City, as Donald Trump say.
So the guys who are on the corner and you say at the table, and even though the police is there, so is a chance they're taking the same way still, technically?
No, everything is legal with the police. Police can't do you nothing. That's not a crime no more. It was.
So don't that get a fight from those people now who have their registered business, because they would who have the registered dispensaries, because in
They have
they have to
registered
pay taxes.
dispensary and they
Uh-huh.
have registered businesses that is not registered for a dispensary. But true, it is legal. A lot of people still sell it in the store.
No, I understand that. I understand that. What I'm saying is their fight or pushback from those set of people who, like the legal dispensaries, then who have to pay the government, pay the taxes, and still pay rent and so on to run a business. Would they fight against you guys now who may be on the street and not paying taxes or anything? Is it like you are a threat to them in terms of competition?
As you know, when it comes to herbs, the better man win. When it comes to herbs, it's the better herb win. Sometimes the dispensary have joke, cause the dispensary them is all about money and they have something they call TAC, where they try to take the TAC from it, make it weaker. You know what I'm saying? So and then you have some of them have chemicals on it that maybe can mad you because your brain is not equipped to take that chemical. So it has its ups and downs.
So I okay. So what about that argument? Do you get that argument from some customers um, that based on what you're talking about, that they may feel more comfortable going to this because they figure, well, it is tested, and then they can tell the amount of THC or the amount of CBD that is in it, because when you go there, all of that information would be labeled versus getting it on the street and you don't know, so to speak, who the vendor might be if you don't know the person
Right,
personally, and you don't
right,
know if there's something on it, and you don't
right,
know too much THC or whatever it is. Do you get that
right,
pushback?
right. And then the guys them on the street now, you know, this thing has all kind of name now all of a sudden. Some people make up names for it, which might not be the name for it, but they try to find a name to catch you. Like some gangster name like Saddam Hussein, some call it Mango Pina, something nice to get your attention, you know, which is when you get it, you get mad.
So that is interesting though, because I would have wanted to think that that especially those, because that's one of the things that I realized is a pushback when I was in Canada. That was one of the biggest things that they were seeking to fight, because I think the government to some extent managed the cannabis business. It was, like a lot of the growers would grow and sell to the government, and then the government kind of control the dispensary. So you could have literally, through the government, order your cannabis online and so on, and then they ship it to your address and whatever the case may be. So through that, they were seeking to do that to manage a business so that people don't go to like some of these vendors who sell on the street. So you didn't have that operation where people sold openly on the street like that. But you would have people who have their little, everybody have that in the area might have somebody in the community who do it from their home and so on. But there was always that fight, because those who are paying the license and paying for the distribution and so on, and in a lot of the cases, the license is a heavy money they have to pay for
Yes,
license, and all
right,
these regulations and so on that they have to go through. So a lot of them
right.
were saying, well, we have to pay all of this, and then this guy just on the street, ain't paying nothing, and he is, like a threat to our business.
So they
And
snitch you
so,
out and send the cops on you.
right.
Because
So
if they
that's
got a
that.
dispensary in the area, you cannot be selling within certain amount of feet within the dispensary. as the dispensary could call the cops on you.
Okay, so that's another regulation that is in the laws. You can so you can sell,
Yeah,
but
but
you
New York
can't
City
sell
people
within
don't study
certain.
laws. Laws were meant to be broken. Got to take chances.
Interesting. Life in America, yeah? Life in New York City.
But how much each adult allowed to carry?
You know, have none
Amount of that
no
drug on
amount
you?
for you to carry.
Say if we got 5 pound, we carry it in the bag around the road.
And police find the £5 in your car, you're good to go. £10, you're good to go. They not weed legal now.
That's
Weed
interesting. That's
legal.
interesting to hear.
The other day, my friend had a gun and he and somebody fighting, and he called the cops, and the cops come and we walk. I left him because I was there with him, and the sergeant, the white shirt, they call the white shirt man and say, Sarge, look at this bag. Watch this bag right here. The sergeant tell him, man, leave the bag alone. We're not here for that. Bag full of weed. Whole army bag full of weed. It's right, like 2 knapsack full of weed. The sergeant said, leave that alone.
You ain't come for that.
He ain't come for that. You see, the cops standing right here. You smoke, you roll up, you sell a man money, pass, exchange everything. The cops won't do nothing. But you go in the store and you buy a beer and come out, open it and drink it, you get a ticket. Open container, you get a ticket with a violation for open container. You got to go to the court. Then no, if you might smoke in the courthouse, no, you get a violation. Because they're going to say disrespect in the courthouse. You feel me? Otherwise than that, it's legal.
But in Antigua, you've only got much ounces. Antigua is different.
That of a ball head, if you're a Rasta, them can't tell you how much you have carry.
In Antigua.
So
Rasta
they
don't
have
have no
specific
limitation, you're a Rasta.
in America, so they have specific regulations
No,
for
Shabbat was
Rastafari.
asking me in Antigua legalized the
Oh, in
ganja
Antigua.
too.
Oh,
Yeah, the ganja was legalized over there too, but they had a limit on how much ganja you were supposed to carry. But I figured that went for the ball at them. I don't think that really go for the Rasta them, cause Rasta always have plenty weed.
They got a farm and so forth.
You check a Rasta at the farm where them grow weed and all these things. So we not see the statue on ganja for Rasta. Cause you go in the clubs them here and you got your bag and they will more take away your lighter than take away your weed. Yeah, they won't trouble your weed.
lighter because of security fire. The fire
Yeah,
fled.
but then now it's a big issue because some of the clubs them say no smoking, but at the same time they selling hookah and they telling you, do remember we got the hookah table over there. If you want hookah, which in hookah is a smoke too. So why you fighting marijuana smoke and you're not fighting the hookah smoking?
Mm.
Check
They still got a discrimination.
right there, right there.
In meditation, it's interesting to learn that is the way things are in America. It's always good. We're not in America, in New York, and because each state would have their different rules
Laws,
or regulations or what they cannot
right,
do and so.
right.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
And,
nice to
and every
learn.
state legalize ganja. Some state is still harsh on the penalty still, you know?
Yeah, man. So based on the fact that you're talking about Antigua, is Antigua you're originally from?
Yes, sir. Good place.
Alright. Dudley, we're in Antigua.
I man live next to the airport, you know. Picats. As them say the best world in the world. We not a village. The man them rewrite the village and say we come from the best world in the world.
So you travel to Antigua frequently?
No, me can't do that. Them boys hungry too bad. Cause now them legalize the ganja and the prime minister say you can have 4 tree in your yard. Me can't come down the road and tell you say, boss, you know, me have some high grade weed soon drop a road. Me can't tell you that cause when me left Ghana work or me gone by my girl house or me gone in the city or something. Man gone in my yard, gone look for them 4 tree there. And when them go in your yard and they see the 4 tree, they might look in your window. And when them look in your window, they might see your shoes, they might see one phone, they might see something of a value they coming in. So the crime rate gone different now, man. You know into that.
I was just asking to find out, like what if you know exactly like what things are like in terms of um, cannabis in Antigua in relation to how it was before and now that it has been decriminalized. You know, so I thought like you maybe go once a year, every 2 years or whatever, or you would have been there since they would have
Yeah,
decriminalized
it's
it.
still there, you know, but the police them not so harsh with you like before time. You get caught with a giant or like a roach, could have seen them fine upon you. That's automatically like a 5 grand fine or more, you know. But no, they're
Mm.
fine you with 2 3 ounce or a QP. You alright. That's not a crime no more.
Okay.
But then now they're trying to use laws and regulations like instead to say you have to have license to grow marijuana. You know, and if you don't have these proper procedure, they try to fine you, give you a fine, and the people them that have it try to fight against you too. And most of some of these people that try to fight against you with it, they don't even have come from there. That's the whole bad. That's the whole sad thing about it. So it cause fight again. You know, a man can, as the song say, nobody can run me, nobody can run me, sir. Nobody can run me, nobody can run me, yeah. Yeah, so become.
Short, short.
Yes, I shot, eh? Legendary.
Yeah, so you know, not because we are Rasta, we have to listen to the elders them still, you know.
Yes, I. So how long now you trading to New York?
Yeah, about 15 years now, I'm back on, you know. About 30 years of my life, I'm in a foreign now, you know. But, you know,
Oh,
so have it ups and downs, you know.
yeah, cannabis. I'm sure you know you must love that feeling. To know that, especially coming from Wadadli and knowing what it was and how it used to be, and then to be in a territory now where you know you're free as you put it. Um,
Not really, cause
I
the Jamaican them fight too much of ganja. When I rate Jamaicans, Jamaican fight too much of cannabis. And the Jamaican them have most of the clubs them. And as soon as they tell them about, they say, oh, you don't know Bob Marley? I'm Bob Marley this and Bob Marley that. But they fight ganja. I don't know what ganja do to them, but they fight ganja the most. I'm very
that's
disappointed in
interesting.
the part.
That's really interesting. Jamaicans fighting cannabis.
Jamaican don't smoke ganja like that. Jamaican smoke Mataran. Mataran is a form of cigarette. That's where he got his name from, Mataran. He smokes a lot of Mataran, Tony Mataran.
Mm.
Yeah, they smoke a lot of cigarette and they put people use blend to blend their weed. They use weed and cigarette.
Cannabis to blend the cigarette. They use
Yeah,
cannabis to blend the cigarette.
yeah. So they use more cigarette than weed, really.
Then cannabis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they don't really smoke weed, you know. Them pose, but them they see them smoke a spliff. By the time they reach Chikwata or the spliff, them smoke two Mataran. By the time they
Mm.
smoke a whole spliff, them burn a pack of Mataran.
Yeah, I experienced that. I experienced that with Berry Salmon, you know.
Okay then,
Berry
all
Salmon.
right then.
Yeah,
Okay
man. Berry
then.
smoke a lot, you know, Jed. And one time
That's
he
how
was
they
in
travel with
Navy.
their weed. They stuff the weed in the cigarette. They take out the inside of the cigarette and then stuff it back with the weed and travel with it.
No,
Like if
I
it's a
had bring a
cigarette.
split for him. We were chilling at the place. I was supposed to do an interview with him, and I had bring a split for him, and you know, we were sitting, and I remember he rolled his spliff, and with the reasoning, and he take a couple talk, and he light up a cigarette, and then he take another couple talk, and light up 3, 4, 5, maybe. So before he done this spliff, he done smoke maybe 5, 6, 7, 8
So
cigarettes
I'm
in
not
between
lying.
that.
So
So
I
yeah,
am
that's
not
what I'm saying. So
lying.
I could relate to
So
what you're
I am
saying,
not
you know.
lying.
Yeah, that's how they do the thing, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
man, them smoke a lot
that's
of cigarette. Them rather for buy a cigarette than buy a spliff. Them find it we call it now efficient for their money, you know, than sorry than to buy a spliff. Where which part me come from now, we don't like cigarette. We don't even like smell cigarette.
right.
A girl could be
Good.
pretty and
Straight,
have plenty money from she smoke cigarette. It's like a no for us.
straight cannabis, nothing else.
Yeah, man, where we come from, mommy smoke, daddy smoke, granny smoke, baby smoke, everybody smoke. You wanna smoke it, drink it in a tea. Wanna drink it in a tea, we cook it in a food, we use it like spinach in a rice. you know. So
Right. Yes,
the rum man them soak
that's
it in them alcohol. So everybody get a use and a taste of it somewhere.
yeah, that's part of the story. That's part of the story there in New York.
Hmm.
Um, that's that's Virgin there sharing his experience in New York and giving us some of the experience in Wadadli. You know, cannabis cannabis is something that we would have been, you know, pushing and you know, challenging as Rastafari for all these years. Um, you know, from pinnacle days, you know, leading up to these times, the struggle that Rastafari would have gone through. So I do give a lot of respect to those territories who, within the process of whether legalizing or decriminalizing cannabis, seek to make provisions, special provisions for Rastafari, because the struggle that Rastafari would have gone through to help in terms of the psychology to get people to fully understand that nothing is wrong with cannabis. And, you know, they would have been lied about, they would have been, you know, ridiculed, persecuted, scanned. And even today, we're still in the forefront of pushing the message for cannabis to our detriment to some extent, because a lot of the times, because we are the only ones pushing the story and the agenda, and because they would have already painted a negative picture about Rastafari, it tends to stereotype. So when we talk, people can say, "Oh, he's a Rasta man," they're just talking because they want to go smoke up the thing, but they don't really look at all the other positive aspects to cannabis, all the other areas where cannabis could be used. We're talking construction, we're talking hemp homes. even here in California, where a lot of this fire took place, if a lot of these homes were made out of hemp, these hemp is fireproof, hemp wheat is fireproof. So a lot of these houses would have still been standing. We have clothes that could be made from cannabis. You have the medicinal, you have the herbal side, the nutritional side, where the hemp seeds is supposed to be one of the most highest in protein, high in the omega-3 and 6 oils that we used to get from where people usually get from fish, whether it's cod liver or catfish or whatever, shark oil and all of these things. You have plants like purslane and cannabis that have these things in them. You know, we have alternative fuel. You have alternative plastic that can be made. You have, batteries that can be made, dry cells that can be made from, the cannabis. So there's so many other areas that we can look at and delve into, and especially in the small islands. I think we are really, sometimes too caught up with just looking at it from this smoking aspect and not looking at the other areas that we could tap into, especially from an agricultural perspective, that the plant now is considered an agricultural crop. So even if you're just going to sell the raw cannabis to some company that is going to process it, when you look at it from pound to pound value, cannabis would be one of the highest paid cash crop. Apart from strawberries in our parts of the world, I think cannabis might be one of the other highest per pound cash crop. And so there's a lot of opportunities for business. There's a lot of opportunities for our people to turn into agripreneurs, developing their own product, selling their product, branding, creating their own brands and so on. But a lot of these things can and will only happen when our leaders really take action and take the steps to really help to educate the masses. And so we really look forward to, as we move forward into 2025 and beyond, that we see a lot of these changes, and we see that maybe even in the interim, some of these freedoms that you're talking about that you're enjoying in New York, that we wish we could be enjoying in the Caribbean. And to some extent, I think that the police and those in authority should sometimes just do the same thing, turn a blind eye to some of these things and really go look after the real criminals and deal with the real crimes them, and
Yeah,
especially
but
the
some of
white
us are
collar
still
crimes.
disrespectful. Some of us disrespectful. We be smoking in certain areas where certain people don't want no smoking, you know? There where some of
Right.
the problems come. You go to a sweet 16, somebody want to smoke. It's a kid's party. You go to a baby shower. You go to a funeral. They want to smoke in the church. They have the service. Not because it's legal, but you have to have your jurisdiction and your limit where you're doing this at.
Right. And I'm totally in agreement with that. I'm totally in agreement with that. And you know, some things are personal. But when you come down to these things, then just like how you spoke about legislation to not smoke or not to do business within a certain feet of the dispensary. I think there are certain regulations where you're not supposed to smoke or be in possession of it in proximity to schools and certain other institutions like that. Um, I mean, yes, the point that you made, laws are made and are made to be broken, so people will take chances. So the thing is just for, I guess, many more to be more conscious and really, seek to um be more positively minded of their surroundings and environment.
Yes, that's grown folks, not the kids. The kids them is not. Kids them don't really give too much about what you got to say, you know. It's all
I
about
feel that.
them. It's their world. You got to pay to live in their world. It's their world now.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, it's it's an interesting world to be living in though in these times. Um, especially now that we know that it's freed up to some extent. Um, I was having a conversation with a brethren the other day on St. Kitts, and he was sharing to me a story, and I was like, like by man like Marley them and some of the elders before us would have wished that they could live to see days like these, because he was telling me that um, he's doing some farming at a particular area, and his yard his yard is fenced, but for whatever reason, it's kind of on the outskirts. So, like you're talking about when he leave to go, whether he's in the city or go down in the village or go shopping or whatever. This 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 I think his goats he have goat herder would open his gate and allow his goats to go in and eat down his crops and so. So he had some cannabis trees in there, and the goats ate down the trees. And he went and he called the police. So he called the police and the guys, to show him the evidence of the goats and damage that the goats did and so on. And the police went to go look for the guy whose goats eat up his cannabis trees. And I was listening to that and I was just smiling to myself, because back in the day, he would have been
He'd
locked
have
up
got
for the
locked
first thing, right? But it was just, interesting to know now that things have changed, to see that we're living in a day now where you go call the police because a man goat eating up your cannabis trees. And so, so we definitely look forward to hearing more on St. Kitts and Nevis though, in terms of, some of the legislations and what is going to happen as they move forward with the new cannabis board that they have um, created, and that we eventually start to get more information from that board. Um, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis has made some positive strides where that is concerned, but there's a lot to be done in terms of public relations and empowering our people, especially on the Nevis side. There's a lot that is being done on St. Kitts, but specifically on Nevis, we are not hearing anything on Nevis. Um, and I think that really needs to change, especially seeing that cannabis is now placed in the field of agriculture, and that
You have to change the
agriculture,
government first. Got to get a government that is down with it. If you don't have a government that is down with it, it cannot happen. Our government is down with it. Our prime minister is down with it. Our prime minister is from the area where it sells a lot and it smokes a lot, so he understands the meaning of the cannabis. If you do not have that person in place, it's going to be a problem.
is an interesting comment, because based on well, on the Navy side, we would hear from the premier, because the premier himself, when he speaks, can't talk about the actions, but talk about when he speaks to the full legalization. He sometimes criticizes the the federal government for dragging their feet in terms of dealing with the issue. However, in relation to the minister now that is responsible for agriculture, which cannabis fits under, there is where you may find the pushback where the minister might not necessarily be as open to cannabis. And that I think is part of where the stalling is taking place, but it is something that we have to fix.
It's
We
not
have
really a style, you know. It's the prices. Remember now, back in the days, you probably could have gotten a pound of weed for $1,000 or $1,200. No, a pound of weed is $5,000-$6,000. You could have gotten an ounce for $100, which in our ounce is all 6, 8, or $1,000 for an ounce of weed.
but that depends on where you are and where you see. So
Right.
like the market is depending on where you are
That's
because
Antigua. That's in Antigua. The price
we're talking
went up.
Antigua.
The price went up upon the ganja since it got legalized. So true, the price is so high, the crime rate rise high. Cause you was a pusher man, and I know you was a pusher man, and you just whispered a word to somebody about you got 5-10 pounds, and you left your house. They coming. They coming. They see you got weed for 3-4 weeks straight. They coming.
Would
So you
that
gotta live it.
happen?
Gotta live it. Huh?
One would have wanted that one would have wanted to think that the opposite would happen. That if you scrape the cannabis, that it would have decreased the price. But you're saying the opposite happened. That since it legalized or
It went up.
decriminalized, it went
It
up.
went up, and it went up, and a lot of guys don't want to work. A lot of guys want the easy way out. That's why a lot of people in
But
Antigua start going missing. A lot of people is going missing, and when they find them,
this is putting
they
a whole,
burnt up.
this is putting a whole different perspective on the cannabis because I would have wanted to think that freeing it up and allowing, because, for example, if I were accustomed to purchase and I could grow my own 3 or 4 trees, 5 or 6 trees, or whatever the case may be, then it
That's why
should
a lot of
mean
people
no.
growing their own stuff. That's why a lot of
It
people is
should
growing
mean
their own stuff.
yeah, but what I'm saying, but when you do that, then that mean it should mean that because there would be more on the market, then the demand should be less. Because the price should only go up when the demand is, higher than the supply.
Well, remember now in the Caribbean, people always like things will come from overseas than local, you know.
Foreign.
Yeah.
Well, the
Remember the foreign
foreign.
food
Okay, I see what you're saying.
always
I see what
cost
you're
more
saying.
than local, and when the local man see the foreign thing and his thing is more fresher without no chemical, he's going to carry up his price too. Homegrown.
Mm.
You got some people only like homegrown. You got to pay the price for the homegrown. And then when you got certain big people find a good homegrown, they pay the grower for the crop. Pay him one time for the crop. Hold this, when the crop ready, call me or come see me. That's his crop. He already bought out the crop. But a lot of people taking it now and pressing it and getting the aisle and selling the aisle. More now, a lot of people smoking the aisle pens.
Right.
You know, a lot of people taking it and making edibles. Because some people don't smoke, so some people use the edibles differently than the oil paints.
And those are other industries as well that you can get into. So that's what I'm looking at. Why should you
Yeah,
be dragging your feet with an industry that creates so many different opportunities? And you're
but
looking
they
at
don't know.
behind the economy.
They don't know. Cause remember now they're like a more third world. The Caribbean is like a third world country, and America is more advanced. And you tell them they act like you're trying to act like you're better than them when you're trying to give them a knowledge. It's not like you're better off than them, it's more you sharing knowledge with them, but they take it wrongfully.
Yes.
And you cannot mix cannabis with sugar like you're making a sugar cake and you put the cannabis in the sugar cake. Remember now, sugar has a sugar rush plus the cannabis. So most of the time you do stuff like that. You can't really be eating too much, but it's so sweet that you always want to eat it off. And then that causes a problem. You have to have a limit.
So that comes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of the education, how important it is to have those who are really pushing the agenda to be able to educate people. Because, okay, for example, what you just highlighted here, if people have the basic knowledge, they will be able to understand exactly why what you're saying, the end result of what you're saying. For example, like when you smoke cannabis. Smoke is a gas, and so it like hydrogen and oxygen flows through the bloodstream almost instantly, and so you start to feel the effect of it in the brain almost
Right,
right away. Versus when you have to eat it, it first now has to go through the digestive system before
right,
it goes through to the bloodstream. So what you're
right.
saying there, what happens? That's what happens when people eat versus smoke. When you eat it, because
Yes.
it takes a longer time to go through the digestive system, you eat a little piece and to you ain't start feeling nothing because you're not going to start to feel the effects of it until about half an hour or 45 minutes after.
Right.
And so for those who don't have that knowledge, as you say, if it's a sugar cake or brownie or something like that and it tastes nice, they're just going to continue eating because for the first 10, 15 minutes, they're not going to feel anything. It is
And
only
they call it
until
for
when it
more.
starts kicking in, and then
They
maybe they
call
would
for
have
more.
consumed much more than they would have been able to manage. And then some people end up at the hospital and so on because, they eat too much. But the good thing with cannabis is you would not die of an overdose. Most you would do is sleep long. You'd have some long, long sleep, but um, and that is just because of the lack of knowledge. So if you have this knowledge that we are pointing out now, you should know if you're going to be using cannabis and you're not a person who uses cannabis generally, if you're going to eat it, take a small dose, a small bit, and allow it to go through
At
your
first.
system for about a half an hour, and
At
then figure out how
first.
you feel after that, and
Right.
then eat a little bit more to your your judgment. But you don't
First
don't just eat off the whole edible or the whole
one
brownie or
time.
whatever it is. Take a bite, take a small bite or two, and give yourself a half an hour, 45 minutes for it to go through the system. So these are things that people, like I said, the knowledge is going to be very important as we go through, the industry. And, you know, we really have to begin to take it
Yeah.
a bit more seriously. We are already late out the gate, so to speak, in the region. And that's when you talk about the price going up is one of the reasons why I was so concerned because like here where I am in California, one of the major issues is the hydroponics versus the earth grown. So you find that there is a market for the hydroponic. But when it comes
Watch this.
to the put it up, you go put it up in the air some more. So I can see
Watch
it.
this.
Uh-huh.
You know what this be?
Tobacco leaf.
Yeah. Brown
That's naturally
hot grabber. This is the most selling
yeah.
thing now in the store. This is the most selling thing in all the stores in New York City.
So that was grown in Antigua, or that's grown in America.
It was imported from Antigua.
Okay.
It wasn't grown there, but it was imported from there.
Okay.
This is selling more than weed itself. The grabber sell more than weed. So a lot of people stop selling weed and start selling grabber. Because all Americans them now smoking grabber. And where you get the grabber there from? You couldn't call me hot grabber, cartel, popcorn, real thing.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, but you know, that's yeah. But for me, I don't do tobacco at all. So I mean, I'm a
I
straight man.
don't either, but
I
it's
understand
money on
it's a business.
it's
Yes,
money on
it's a
there.
business.
I got called
You know,
I got called yesterday for 2 pounds of grabber cut up. They called me for 2
I
pounds,
find
5 pounds cut up.
I find I find that interesting, right? Um, and this is what I talk about in terms of the knowledge, right?
Top
Cannabis
fine.
itself,
Pass the bag there for me.
canna- cannabis itself carries what is considered uh, psychological addiction, where it is not physical, where you don't get physically addicted to cannabis. It's more mindset, where like it's more like
Shabazz a laugh, cause me show him say me have to cut it up like this.
come over some more, bring it out, yeah. That's it.
Me have to cut. No, I'm just showing him that it's fine.
Uh-huh. And you sell
Me,
that a
me
bag like
try
that. A bag like that is how much?
maybe
A
up to
bag like that
here
is how much?
about half of it was about $5, almost full, about $5.
Okay.
But then now, through the stores them come in now, they start selling $1 and $2 bags. So they drop the market.
Competition. So grab a competition as well too. Competition
Big
for the cannabis,
competition.
competition for the grab.
Grab a big competition like a weed now, man. I tell you, say grab a sell more than weed right now. Right now in New York City.
So I was telling you know, like as I go through this, right, I realize that cannabis carries us what's called a psychological addiction, where it's more like a person who love playing basketball. And even though they go to work every afternoon, when they come from work, you know, they go and play basketball. That's the kind of meditation with cannabis. With cigarette or tobacco, you have what you call a physical addiction, where because of the nicotine and the tar and all that, you eventually get addicted to smoking. So you find that a lot of people who smoke cannabis by itself, straight cannabis, smoke a lot less than those who smoke blend because you get addicted to the smoking to the
Of the
point
grabber.
where I yes to the point where I have friends and I remember I used to work with a brethren and
Can't smoke
if
without the
he
grabber.
can't smoke without the grabber. So in the morning,
If you don't have it,
if we reach on the walk and we rolling up a joint, and he not gonna grabber, he got to wait until
yeah, so
somebody go down by some shop or somewhere to smoke a joint. So I was like,
true.
well, if it's the herb you get in the meditation from, well, if you ain't got no herb, I could understand. But if you got the herb, you got paper, you got lighter, well, how come you can't just smoke a joint? So where you getting your meditation from? So that was a problem for me, and that is when I started to realize that, you know, there was a time again, another virgin, I remember, he was living in Brooklyn, and he drove his car, Brooklyn past Camps, past Mount Lily, reach up to Fountain, with his herb, with his paper, with his lighter, and all he looking for is to get some grabber.
Just grab it.
Me say,
Yeah,
you look at this here, you running the risk of even getting locked up. At them time, he wasn't free. So,
right.
you, I mean, so I mean, you got herb, you know, you can't burn this spliff without that. So I realized that, as I said, carries that kind of addiction, and I never wanted to use anything that make me can do without it. So there's nothing that I would use. So like for me right now, smoking straight. I tell myself tomorrow that me ain't smoking, I could don't smoke and don't feel no way, it don't bother me. I don't feel no cravings, no nothing. I could just decide right now. Today I could just settle right now and just do it.
Me too.
And
Sometimes
that's
I smoke for days.
no, but I could just tell myself I don't do it and just stop. And just stop. Cause like for me it's more like, as I say, it's more like psychological. You love the feeling that you get from it, the energy, the vibes, and you do it, the meditation. That's all
Sometimes
it
my
is for me.
purge. Sometimes I be
Right.
fasting on the ganja too, so I don't have addiction to it. Some people smoke and don't eat, so they get addicted. Some people forgot to eat. Some
Right.
people don't remember say it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When they do remember they didn't eat, it's dinner time. They already passed breakfast and lunch plus brunch.
Yeah, man. But it was really interesting, you know, learning about the experience in New York. Um, I would have a couple of years back, and but that would have been back in 2016, 16.
I showed Shabazz yesterday the people them with all the weed on the table by the train station. He couldn't believe the people them have a fold up table and it's about 10 table with about 10 different person. All of them got a lot of weed on the tables. Just right there, the police right there, the fire station right across the street. Legal. Some of them have pre-rolls. Now you could buy a pre-roll straight blend. $5. Ready to go.
Yes, that's the energy, and that's where cannabis is. And you know, as we continue on the journey, we do look forward to really expanding the industry. And like I said, you know, that's just the smoking side, but we need to also zoom in on capitalizing on the other sides where we could make some serious monies from. Um, on another level, you know, agriculture on a whole, we need to really take some serious steps. I am looking at the leader there for Burkina Faso and the kind of steps that he's taking in his country in regards to agriculture. I would have seen that he brought in over 1,000 tractors in recent time. He would have decided that he's not going to export any wheat or any corn or any of these things. He's focused on self-sufficiency and I mean food sovereignty, being able to control his market. He is working on setting up his own pasta factory so that when all this wheat and corn and all these things don't go, that he can make his own pasta and his own baby formula. So he's working on making sure that not just the young, the old is taken care of or fed, but he's also making sure that the future generations would not be in the hands of those who are making this kind of baby food where sometimes you hear them being recalled because of all kind of issues and so on. They are making sure that they can feed themselves and they don't have to depend on others to feed them. I think I see Nigeria making that move as well in terms of bringing in some heavy mechanization and moving towards setting up themselves. I mean, the leader of Burkina Faso said that food security is more important than the military. That this is how serious the man is, and this is a military man. You know, this is a militant man, and he has recognized that it is more important for him to invest in
Yeah,
agriculture
yeah,
than to
because they're killing us
invest
in the food.
in military.
Yeah, because
And
they're killing
so
us through the food.
I'm hoping that our leaders in the region could really see the need to take some serious actions like this brother here is. And I am hoping that also since the since CARICOM has started to push back the 25 by 25 agenda to 2030, that our leaders don't lapse and feel like, okay, well, the agenda pushed back, so we could take a little break now and so on, but that we still push as much as possible to exceed the expectations of CARICOM. So that by when 2030 comes, it's not 20% or 30%, but we already reduced the bill by maybe 70, 80, 90, or even 100%. And that we are at the level where we can sustain ourselves, go our basic needs, and then use the surplus to export. And so that is the kind of level that I am hoping that we could be on. Um, we have now gone 2 hours and 17 minutes, and so we are going to give you a chance, my brethren, to wrap up and share your final thoughts on the cannabis issue, where the Caribbean, Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis is concerned, agriculture on a whole, any last thing that you want to add in, and we would be looking to wrap up this
The
edition for this.
last thing I got to say, the people in the Caribbean must stop calling America and think say weed in America is cheap. Weed in America is not cheap. Feel me? So I don't know where some of them getting their knowledge from. Think say you could buy a pound of weed for $100 or $200 and expect to get the top of the top of the top. It cannot happen. There's no way you cannot get that. Cause the top of the top, a pound of that is all $5,000. They still got weed here that is $5,000. They still have weed that is here for $3,000. You feel me? But I don't know. They think say weed in America because it's legal now. It is very cheap. They got the wrong
Okay, and
concept.
one final thing before we leave. I didn't remember to ask you and because today is the last day of the month, and this month was Al Cable and Stories month. You know, um, anything that you want to share in regards to that aspect? I know we say Al Cable and Stories every day as Rastafari, but at the same time, we celebrate our Earth Strong. Every day is a day for us, but we celebrate our Earth Strong. We celebrate other glorious days and so on. Since we are given a month, so to speak, what are your, you know, thoughts or anything that you would want to add as we, close off the month and close up? edition
Well,
at the end of the month.
sorry to say, my brother, but the jungle that I live in, every morning you see the sun is a blessing on the earth. In this jungle that I live in, cause just yesterday I was supposed to go to the airport to go pick up somebody came in, and I couldn't make it because my driver that was supposed to take me, his son got shot in the chest. Sorry to say, but it's the world that we live in. You have to ask for guide and protectance when you're leaving outside. You don't know what can happen.
Uh, well, I guess Shabazz getting himself set up because he's traveling.
Yeah,
But
him a come back.
we can we can we can close down this evening because I think
That's fine.
we would have we would have um we would have had a good evening with the brethren here. And any wrap up um you know comments as we wrap up for this evening.
Well, I just wanted to get a different perspective. My brother don't know. My older brother, one of them, give his own perspective because the man is like the mayor of New York. They know New York set and everybody in the Bronx area and so forth. The man live good with all the man, them hustle and stuff like that. So you see me to show you how New York the herb thing is different up here. So you know what I mean, man, the man is treat them just like a normal sell vegetables. As a herb I set up here, so with everything with all the paraphernalia on the table and police the next to said they're in upon the camera and about the herb and people are pass and male, female, everybody. Like they must smoke herb is like cigarette up here, so you know. So that's why we keep talking about the chemicals and how Sony guns like an opioid down the road. We talk about these things over and over and over. And you see everything manifest what we keep talking about. Because it's all about money. Everywhere you look and left, right, you see a dispensary, right? And it's not like the people in the neighborhood own the dispensary. It's the Arabs and the Indians and them who selling the sandwiches and all and different stuff in there sell, and you go in a car and you herb the same way. So this is what we keep talking about, saying it's a Nevis. Nobody's supposed to come in and gonna herb and sell no herb except with the natives. And them things they may talk about. You see what to show you? And the natives alone should benefit. A wee place, a wee land. That's how me see things. Me not think that how we know virgin. It's us. You see, even a man out the street can get a 10 pound a weed and police don't do nothing. You see, the next man got 10 pound next week, so who are going to sell? You put the people fight amongst themselves, virgin. You see what you show
You see,
you?
Banky,
Easy thing to
you're
talk
gonna
about.
think like that. Maybe you're gonna think like
Well,
that. But
yeah, well,
the
of course.
politician who looking for some campaign funds, you're gonna be thinking
Well, that's
about
fine.
that businessman who gonna come in and
You
who
hit
gonna
your
pay the license and
and
he
one
gonna
will
be able
learn.
to give him $1 million
Okay.
for your campaign, and so
All right.
he can
Okay.
facilitate
How
it.
and you will learn. $1 million
Yeah,
and slow to land. And slow to land.
yeah.
And
And then at
well,
the end of
that's
the day,
fine.
you know, at the end of the day, I win the election and I get to be in there for 5 years, and you pay me for the next 5 years.
And you lose your land again, and just yes, and then you're gonna lose your airport again, and then
And
you're
so
gonna buy
what?
money from Bill Gates and from all, that's fine.
And
Well,
I win
you think they're
election
not laugh
again.
at you? So you think they not laugh after your children and them and laugh after you when you think up in your house and because you drive a nice car, I take your night fly for a nice jet and wherever status you think you look. Let them not look down upon you like an aunt, Uncle Tom too. And as how do I cost you in all the kind of words and how they cost the rest, if they don't respect you. Just say the real world brethren. So man know
Well,
that and them know that. You see what you show you?
until we get more people like me and you who's able to see that, them man
People that go
gains gonna
see,
continue.
they knows, they can see it, me virgin. But you see, the thing called money and status,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna learn. Because you see when you go with the same thing, egg crisis again and all these things, nothing is coincidental, you know. from my age where I'm at now, me got 48 in April. Listen to you. We got probably less years ahead of me than what behind of me. Ain't nobody can fool me in the times, you know? Okay, if me can't fool me 4-year-old, who gonna be 5? Me nobody can fool me. Do it then wiser than me. You know what I'm saying? My oldest girl gonna be 26 in May. She just got married yesterday. You understand? Cause everybody who listens to me talk about my youth them. Wherever they in the world, me gonna find them. I just showed up to surprise her for her marriage. You understand? To support her and stuff like that. And you know, she whispered me and tell me when she cry, Dad, I know you're gonna make it. That's when you them know the parent and the heart and the trust the parent. I know you're gonna make it. I don't tell if you're there in the wall and the building a drop down and until you don't move, I'm gonna come there. They're not gonna move, virgin. And some youth and they believe in the Father. So if you take me about with any politician and any boy who liar, this and that, and who got PhD in it, me the business about them, then I worry about my youth and the youth and them who need people tell them the truth. You see what to show you that how me stands my ground. So I gonna defend the natives. Me no one body can tell me about your give the Hamilton Mill to nobody whether they want to donate the time to the hospital, donate the time to hear a good service and whatever, and took a paper and play the nice and proper sign down litter and all them nonsense there. Think they not face me come in a litter, so me know who me talk to. You see me to show you. We have to be bamboozled and nice over a little drink, a little coffee, and eat some cheese. When we leave the house, we go up, my mother make sure we're belly full, and we stand by that all the time. So a man live. You understand? With them kind of principles there. Ain't nobody gonna make me go out and slow up my country and when down we not got the land and not got the this and them who come to come live think they only better than us. That not gonna work. You understand? We the natives might supposed to live better than the natives, brethren. So the politicians and them who hold up with money and don't want to give people like me and you and the regular man who could have been used in Hamilton Mill and as a young lady or a young man who single or whatever and have more than one little thing there, gift shops there and all these different stuff. These are simple things, brethren. Wait, these are simple things. So anybody who do these things don't have no love for the country. You see me to show you? Nobody who ain't look like us supposed to control with sugar mill and with natural resources, brethren. And anybody who stand and believe in these things, they don't have no love for the country. They're lying to themselves. These are our things, you know me tell you. So these them the petty stuff, them things that cost nothing to do. What them they do, they don't cost no $500,000 and no $300,000. You don't need to make no the thing them done there. Them done nothing. So you don't have to nobody no favor. Me not upset with the experts them who give these things to you. Me upset with my own people because we are the fools. Me not vex with people because we being stupid, you know. I want them to try. When we give our heritage to somebody else who don't look like us and come with some fancy talking, me not be fooled and bamboozled, you know. Because me speak for my people. It's our people, it's our place who come after live amongst us and abide by our thing. Because me not bow, you know, to nobody who don't look like me, you know. Because we are the native, we place. We set it up for us who come enjoy it. If we not think them lying there and they give away land, nobody's supposed to come and develop our land. We have our land, we build, we design our land, and we develop our land and use our money. Because people come empty-handed and they get our things. And I turn millionaires and half of our things, think everybody is foolish. Everybody else is foolish, be virgin. And then them things need to done with. And we need to speak up and stop to sit down and then cuss and mumble, boy, look how they give away sugar mill. It's a mumble. And I don't want people to do it, and they know that, and they not tell them about these things. Only me and you talk about this, you know, it's a truth, me talk about it. I wanted to go up Hamilton show again and ask Mr. Branton, ask Mr. Evelyn, ask Mr. Trust, ask the legal advisor, ask Zook, ask Eric Chai. We're going to the sugar mill. Who are going up there? So ask tourism. Who is in the tourism now? My virgin Fian Jones. I hear they put their card. Ask Fian Jones. We're going with tourism. And all who inside there. And my virgin, what's my name again? Anyway, yes, you understand? But this, Mr. try to show you, these are madness. Madness. And I hope I'm wrong too. You understand? Which I'll come back and say, well, my fault. I was told this by some experts the same way. You understand? Because I say, well, I mean, they're not lie. I mean, know that. You see, make sure they're not lie. So you cannot be giving away natural resources to the expats who are not natives. But them control with sugar mill, I've got boutique and coffee and go sugar cane and them nonsense there. Yes, and you could do that. Anybody in Hamilton could do that. You know, below $1 million, you below a little structure. Things not cost no money, Virgin. Man, no things cost. And before we go, Yasan, we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate all those who tune in every Friday night. And also, responsibility is important, you know. Mr. Brad must come to the people in St. Paul's and St. John's and apologize for taking the job for building the hospital wing, because he know he could not have done the job. But money have been spent. The way forward is just to use that building, turn it into a whole senior citizen community, because there's space needed for the flamboyant home. That is the best suggestion. Use it to expand that place and then build a brand new hospital. The whole government should just step down and resign, because you can't come back from these things, you know. You cannot come back when you don't waste taxpayers' money, take a job. No, you have nothing about the job, can do it, and you take it. You just take it. The thing that make no sense with Virgin. And these men pan show every Tuesday they talking, and not talk about the thing. I mean, I must have to give Pokins respect. Because Pokin come back and say my job supposed to cost $1 million, it will cost $10 million. And it's an honest mistake. You know, honestly, been about that, but what he say. You understand? So if a man come back and say he's at least he apologize for he wrong he have done. You must respect the man the brethren. Not as bad as this one, you have taken courage to say that. But Brampan show every night like it's nothing. These are real issues. These are real failures. And these are people still want to continue waste taxpayers' money, and then you understand? They go around and I don't have nothing people in personal nothing. But if you represent me and my children and my family, you gotta represent me right. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I put myself forward, and other young people need to step forward and take our country into our hand, because our people who above us, I think they're better than us, canning us. Yeah, they're canning us, brethren, big time too. And these things are not right. You see me to show you. I realize we live in a small society where a lot of people are on the status, the one status in life and higher class and hierarchy. Think me the business about them things there, you know. Me no business about them things there. You see me to show you. And is accountability. And there's a lot of people have ideas out there. A lot of them don't call me, let me know when it comes to education and health wise, and they want to sit down and talk to me about. That's beautiful. You understand? That's beautiful, because it's you are going to make the change, it's not me. I'm just the medium. I'm guided by what you all want. You understand? Because what we have there going, on either side, whether it's Palm Labor, NRP, CCM, PLP, call all of them, all the same thing. Same thing. Same thing. You see, you can see it, and they know that everything them said, the canniness, they know that. I have no issue with none of them personally, and they knows that. But I'm just speaking for with what they're doing. You can see it. Everybody who have spoken to me, and they ask me about the hospital, the bodies of my Lord, they have to shame. You understand? They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. When it's their mother, their brother, their father, same thing. They can, even them themselves is shame about it. I mean, come on. It's too much failures. 40 acres of food gone down the drain. Nothing no come out of down there. You see? Nothing no do. That are the real thing, Virgin. Me drive from one place and we look at pure, just work I go on. Construction is what drive the economy, Virgin. Long-term work investment, and our people, we have land and resources. We have Strani, man like Orban, you can call 100 name, Lescott. We have architect, young George, all these young architects that come up and down study, put all them together to come up with a plan to design Indian Castle and all the wasteland around Navis and the wherever we build up our own land, build our own country. We have all this money in the National Bank of sit down, so the young people them can't get $1 million or $2 million, $200,000 as grant. You just got them billions of dollars in the National Bank and Social Security and all in the SIDF and the whole and themselves and thief the money and think we're foolish. So we don't have to spend money. So we can't count to $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $10 million. What is that? Them things need to done, me virgin. You understand? Them things need to done. You see? We have the same brain cells that nobody have better than us. Nobody. You understand? Our genes are pure, you know. We're not got no animal genes in our way, you know. Our genes are 100% pure, ancient. So we need to be stop with these timid ways and think because people speak well and distinguish. And I don't know about them things there. Me no know nothing about them things there. I have no issue when it comes to education because we all been educated people, and that's how our ancestors have built temples because there was places of education and training and stuff like that. I understand these things, not churches and all and monastery and all this. It was not those things. They'll turn into those things. Some of them. Our thing was always about teaching. So everything I've known is all about skill set. But now we're into things on paper and put it that way, and then these people who got paper better than anybody else who not got none. Me no business about them things there. You understand? Them things don't irritate me and you, and because me no go so. So me no have no issue with any things there. You see? Because those who we put forward, it may as well we can put you talk if I not talking about get back something about sharing up money. We don't have to share we want money. If we are brothers and sisters, my brethren, brothers and sisters will be, you know, me and your brother, you know, and we got some resources to share, and me and can't figure it out. We want to bring in outsiders who tell us how we should be one thing. See them that joke thing, and we accept these things, yeah. Yeah, we accept these things, yeah. Foolishness, foolishness, yeah, son. But I just wanted to say thanks. I mean, for all those who continue. I know tonight we had to put in some extra time because I wanted to get a different perspective across from in New York about the cannabis and how things go on. Sure, we're really going on in a sense. It's like strange. It's like wow. You know, what I mean, it's just a mixture of things. Really looking around, this is like you're just gonna see a zombie world because a lot of these things are full of chemicals and fake. Because if you're 20 somebody next to each other, I sell avocado. All they look the same, but everybody still get a different price and whatever. And only you wanna sell a car, you might get whatever. You everybody gonna hate on each other. Cause you hate upon each other. They see in the market and everybody call you. Well, your son come buy a piece of sweet potato from me. Well, your son come buy this. Same thing. So people confused. And then across the street, they still got all these corner stores that sell this. I never not like this a virgin. Trust me, strange. You see, but we got to come different in these times here, and encourage our people to wake up and step up to the plate and run in each constituency. Once people come forward, yes, and come definitely guarantee they will win their seat. Can the people them knowingly only those you see who would be benefiting and continue to benefit gonna tell you, oh, they not, you know, me stand. When you talk to me like that, I know you stand because you're benefiting, you know. So I understand when people tell, oh, me know, me stand, me know me this. Virgin, nobody is down, dedicated to nothing in a party but me blood green and me blood blue and me blood red and purple and yellow and them nonsense there. People who speak like that, you know something is wrong with the mental psychic. But if a man help you do something for you, that is job to help you, but not to get you live till you die to submit dedicated to that when they're doing wrong. What kind of mentality is that? That's not the democracy we have a way to change your mind and think. There was a control mechanism and stuff like that, trapping you. Or me, I them do this for you. You do nothing for me? What you do? They need to do with those kind of things. So you see, those are enslavement mentality. You see, that is what they're trapping people, children with. So only their children is good enough to step up to the plate and always be within a lineage of these names, just their names you hear all the time. Because they are distinguished. Them things they're done with. Them things they're done with. You understand?
Well,
And for the
supposed to is the key word. Supposed to is the key word. They're supposed to done with. But as we realize,
well,
you know,
it's support.
that's why we still celebrating. That's why we still celebrating Al Cable and Stories Month, because a lot of the
Yes.
things that we should have already deal with, we realize that we are still going through. So that's why we got to continue the struggle, and we're gonna continue the journey.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna continue the discussion on the next edition, because when it comes to everything agriculture, there's so many things to address. There's so much things that we want to talk about, but
Yeah, man.
we're gonna save some of that for the next edition and let you get some time to pack up and get yourself organized, and we set ourselves for next Friday. And
So
next
all
week
the
we gotta remember
information,
to,
you have the text to read out, all the messages done read out and stuff like that.
everything, everything
Okay,
gone.
cool.
So next week we're gonna really make the effort to give away those 2 books. So we're gonna do it from early. We're gonna get some questions early. When we
Yes.
start next week, and ask the questions and from earlier.
Sound good.
So we'll do that, and then I guess I'll see you guys next week Tuesday. On
Yes.
the topic. I don't know what we're gonna really discuss yet, but a lot of things are there, and the way especially um things are going every day there's something. I mean, I was listening to Trump and the president out of Ukraine earlier on today, and I mean, like, Trump said, "Man, you playing around with World War III." I mean, when you
Mhm.
listen to these guys, and them man sounding like it's like, like they're just sitting down like,
Of course, nothing.
hey, anyway, no. We're living in some serious times, people, and we gotta, pay attention, wake up, rise up,
Why is money, yes, sir.
and
Yeah.
we're
Why
gonna
is
keep,
money?
yeah, man, we're gonna keep
Why
bringing the
is
topics, we're gonna keep discussing the issues. Until
yes.
then, Ira and the rest of the WEN team, bless up
And let me
everybody, guidance and protection.
and also before we go, remember this weekend coming up tomorrow starts the Inter High, the Bank of Nevis Inter High. Go out and support all the schools and coming from St. Kitts, the Charleston Secondary School, the Georgian High School. I'm not sure if the International High School will take in part, but all the schools coming up from St. Kitts for Saturday and Sunday. Definitely go out in the colors, support the schools them, and also remember everything agriculture, the topics Tuesday, real entertainment, and I want you all to go out and ask what's going on at the Hamilton estate up there by the mill, by Carino. I mean, who is doing the development, if it's tourism, if it's a local, if it's a expats or wherever it is, and why, if it's not, and stuff like that. And ask questions. Otherwise, all the rest of the estate gonna be handed over because they realize we can do our own thing, the government not gonna money. Why it is, if you're gonna money, take the money to National Bank and have a grant and let local person develop these things. Even if you build a hut and put have somebody to have with boutique, that is what would have been good enough. You see what I'm trying to show you? You don't have to go to extravagant to get people a place and all kinds of stuff, and this thing not needed. You understand? Yes, sir. These are craziness. But again, till next week, we continue the discussion. And remember, I'm your new representative for St. Paul's and St. John's. All right? In the next coming up election. Ira? Are you fall asleep on us?
I mean, Ira there just reassuring, so everything
Ah,
should be good. Just hold it.
well, in the meanwhile, we give thanks for those who keep watching the show and sharing the link. We appreciate you supporting with us and encourage others to listen to the show also. And if you have any other topics when it comes to agriculture, you want us to touch on, that is always welcome also. Yes, son?
Enough respect, everybody, guidance and protection, enough love.
All right. Ira around. If anything, God want to make your son till Ira cut off.
Yes, people. So, yeah, we're about to log out for this evening. So, it was a pleasure, big guys. See you guys on Tuesday. Another edition of the topic.
Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. is your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture.